Welcome to the Brian Craig Show. My name is Brian, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. So we've got Zohran Mamdani as the mayor of New York City. What does that mean? We're going to talk about it. I'm going to go through I guess it's his second inaugural event, because he got sworn in right after midnight by Letitia James at this underground subway station underneath City Hall, and then he did it again during the daylight hours with Bernie Sanders swearing him in. I mean, this guy, is he done with the inaugurations now? I mean, my goodness, how many inaugurations has this guy got? Is it normal for a New York City mayor to have multiple swearing in ceremonies? I've never noticed it before. But Zohran Mamdani, he is the mayor of New York City. Day 2 begins now. And we're going to talk about this and what it means and the dangers of it. And there's a lot of them. And also on the program, it's Friday. That means it's open phones. Friday is open phones on the program. We call it Open MAGA Mike Friday. And on Open MAGA Mike Friday, you're welcome to call in about any and everything on your mind. You're not limited to the topics that I bring up. And, of course, the number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. I've got a lot to cover today, although I'm going to start with what's going on with Mamdani. But you're welcome to call in about any and everything on your mind today. 888-465-2631 is the number. It's toll-free no matter where you are listening. All right. So let's get into it a little bit here. Let me just play this first clip, and then I'm going to go through his speech. This is the beginning of the trouble, all right? Socialism, communism has begun, and there's a lot of other problems too.
We will replace the frigidity of rugged individualism with the warmth of collectivism.
Okay. Rugged individualism. They don't talk about this too much in school anymore because since Obama's first 2 terms, American history, social studies, and anything positive about America has virtually been wiped out of the curriculum of our public schools. So they don't want people to know about it. But let me just play it one more time.
We will replace the frigidity of rugged individualism with the warmth of collectivism.
Now, collectivism, that's communism 101, right? I mean, this is communism, Marxism. It's what it is. This is Mao's little red book. I mean, this is Marxism. But rugged individualism is one of the many things that represent what the United States is. Here we are in our 250th anniversary year, right? And we're going to have a year of celebration of that, courtesy of President Trump. And what a lot of that is, and rugged individualism, while you may not hear about it so much anymore, rugged individualism is what this country is really and truly about. And what rugged individualism is, it's about the frontier era of the United States, right? The wagon trains, the people that settled all those boom towns out west. Maybe they went to California during the gold rush. Maybe they went to Alaska. Maybe they worked on a ranch way out in the middle of nowhere in the dead of winter. Maybe you're Laura Ingalls Wilder's father, and you take your family and you settle in a town and build a town and do all these things. That's rugged individualism, because that phrase really started being applied during America's frontier era. And while liberals will tell you that slaves built this country, that's just not the case. Slavery was an evil thing, and the Democrat Party should be ashamed that they held African Americans in slavery in this country. Remember when the Civil War broke out? Every slave in America that was in bondage was owned by a Democrat, with one exception. Think about that. Every slave except one in the entire United States was owned by Democrats at the start of the Civil War. And the Democrats should be ashamed of that. But they didn't build the country. They were, obviously a slave labor force in the Democrat plantations. The country was built by settlers who had nothing, no social welfare parachute, no Section 8 housing, no SNAP, no EBT, no food stamps. Sometimes they would be on their own, going down a river trapping, and surviving that way. But they had nothing. And they would go out, I'm in Florida. Here in Florida, rugged individualism in Florida. The early settlers of Florida, this is a farming state. However, it was covered with trees. And Florida, the Great Plains may not have had trees in them, but the Midwest was filled with trees. Can you imagine what it was like chopping down trees so that you could farm in the era of the great settlements in this country? That's rugged individualism, where a guy would take, maybe he was an immigrant, a legal immigrant, and he'd somehow get some money together and join a wagon train. And if they were lucky, they would survive it. A lot of people died on the wagon trains going out west. They, through some offer from the government, they would acquire land that had nothing on it. There was no electricity yet, no running water, and certainly no motorized tools. And they would go out there, sometimes by themselves, maybe with a wife or a couple of kids, and they would just start farming in the middle of nowhere. And that's rugged individualism. And rugged individualism is what has made this country great. And to just brag that you're doing away with what built this country, which, by the way, rugged individualism is what built New York City originally. Just to wipe out something that is so important, rugged individualism to this country, is something I'm not going to let go by without challenging it. And then replacing it with collectivism, which is communism.
We will replace the frigidity of rugged individualism with the warmth of collectivism.
Oh.
The
warmth of collectivism, the warmth of communism? Where in the world has communism not failed? Does anyone know? Where in the world has communism not failed? And you look at this, they've got the flags of the boroughs, but where's the flag of the United States? Where's the flag of the United States of America at this inauguration of Zohran Mamdani? Do you see it there? I'm looking. I don't see it there. Let's go through a little bit of his inaugural speech. This is his second swearing in. I guess it's his second inaugural.
In so doing, we will provide our own answer to that age-old question. Who does New York belong to? Well, my friends, we can look to Madiba and the South African Freedom Charter.
Well, I don't even know what that is. What is Madiba? And who cares about some charter in South Africa or any African nation? We're now going to model the greatest city in the world, which was the one-time capital of our country, after some charter in South Africa. Are you kidding me?
In so doing, we will provide our own answer to that age-old question. Who does New York belong to? Well, my friends, we can look to Madiba and the South African Freedom Charter. New York belongs to all who live in it.
Okay, now don't you understand? Do you hear what he just said? Americans and white people, get out. And when he says that, he's got anger. Look at his face. There's anger in his mouth.
Freedom Charter. New York belongs to all who live in it.
So, yeah, what does that mean? It means if you're a New Yorker, if you're an American, if you're white, it's not your city. But if you're an illegal, it is. What the heck does that even mean? And why would we base anything on what they're doing in South Africa or any other South African nation, for that matter? Or any other African nation, I should say. This is, what we're getting here in this country, what's happening in this country. And I'm going to call it out for what it is. The United States is being colonized. We're being colonized by Africans, by Muslims, We were being colonized by Latin Americans, South Americans. President Trump shut down the border, and that stopped. But this country is being colonized, and our culture, our history, American culture, Western civilization, our entire civilization is being wiped out. And this is the beginning of it.
In so doing, we will provide our own answer to that age-old question. Who does New York belong to? Well, my friends, we can look to Madiba and the South African Freedom Charter. New York belongs to all who live in it. Together, we will tell a new story of our city. This will not be a tale of one city governed only by the 1%, nor will it be a tale of two cities, the rich versus the poor. It will be a tale of 8.5 million cities, each of them a New Yorker with hopes and fears, each a universe, each of them woven together. The authors of this story will speak Pashto and Mandarin, Yiddish and Creole.
Where's the... oh, I see some American flags off in the distance. There we go. Pushed off to the side. What are these languages? Are they going to speak English?
They will pray in mosques, at shul, at church, at gurudwaras and mandir.
What's a gurudwara? What's a gurudwara? I'm sure I mispronounced it. I don't know what that is.
In mosques, at shul, at church, at gurudwaras and mandirs and temples. And many will not pray at all. They will be Russian Jewish immigrants in Brighton Beach, Italians in Rossville, and Irish families in Woodhaven, many of whom came here with nothing but a dream of a better life, a dream which has withered away. They will be young people in cramped Marble Hill apartments where the walls shake when the subway passes. They will be black homeowners in St. Albans, whose homes represent a physical testament to triumph over decades of lesser paid labor and redlining. They will be Palestinian New Yorkers in Bay Ridge.
Hear that? Oh, they went nuts with that. They went nuts with that when they said Palestinians. You know, here's another question for you. By the way, if you'd like to call in, the number's toll-free. It's pinned in the live chat. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Well, it looks like the Palestinians have taken over New York City. Here we are, 24 years after 9/11. We have a Muslim mayor who's been sworn in twice on a Quran. He hired as his chief counsel a Muslim attorney who represents al-Qaeda terrorists. This is in the city where Ground Zero is. Who won the war on terror? The United States? I don't know about that. I used to think we did.
Marble Hill apartments where the walls shake when the subway passes. They will be black homeowners in St. Albans, whose homes represent a physical testament to triumph over decades of lesser paid labor and redlining. They will be Palestinian New Yorkers in Bay Ridge.
Wow. Very scary.
Who will no longer have to contend with a politics that speaks of universalism and then makes them the exception. Few of these 8.5 million will fit into neat and easy boxes. Some will be voters from Hillside Avenue or Fordham Road who supported President Trump a year before they voted for me, tired of being failed by their party's establishment. The majority will not use the language that we often expect from those who wield influence. I welcome the change. For too long, those fluent in the good grammar of civility have deployed decorum to mask agendas of cruelty. Many of these people have been...
That sounds like a call for violence on his part, doesn't it?
...betrayed by the established order. But in our administration, their needs will be met. Their hopes and dreams and interests will be reflected transparently in government. They will shape our future. And if for too long these communities have existed as distinct from one another, we will draw this city closer together. We will replace the frigidity of rugged individualism with the warmth of collectivism. If our campaign demonstrated that the people of New York yearn for solidarity, then let this government foster it. Because no matter what you eat, how you pray, or where you come from. The words that most define us are the two we all share: New Yorkers.
Now, obviously, New York is a city of immigrants, and immigrants have built that city. Legal immigrants who became Americans and Americanized themselves. Okay? Do you hear anything from Mamdani that sounds American to you? I don't. It's pretty frightening. And here we go, sworn in by Bernie Sanders.
I, Zohran Mamdani,
I, Zohran Mamdani,
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the
Now look at AOC, Pelosi, and Letitia. They're glowing back there.
United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Charter of the City of New York,
and the Charter of the City of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of
the office of the Mayor of the City of New York, according to the best of my ability. So help me God.
There's a lot of things, they're rhinos, right? Republicans in name only. Yeah, sure. Rhinos are Republicans, right? But are they really? We call them Republicans in name only. Yeah, so sure. Zohran Mamdani is an American, right? He's an American technically, but is he an American in his heart and mind? Now, Zohran is up there talking about collectivism and democratic socialism, which really is communism and all of that. Acting like he's a man of the people. I'm showing here, by the way, if you're watching on the live stream with the green wall behind me, to see and hear all the audio and video and images that I show, you have to go to my main live stream, which is linked in the description of that video, if you're looking with the green wall behind me. So you guys here, if you're looking here on the screen, this is a close-up of Zohran Mamdani's wife's feet. She's wearing boots, very pointed boots, very strange boots, but they're $630 boots that she wore. Now, I don't have a problem with someone wearing $630 boots. I imagine whatever boots Melania wears cost a lot more than that each, right? However, if you are a democratic socialist communist and you're talking about the one percenters and your wife is wearing $630 boots, are you not one of the one percenters? He was sworn in, Mamdani, by Letitia James, with his wife holding the Quran the first time. The second time he was sworn in was by Bernie Sanders. All of them are multimillionaires. Is that really a democratic socialist? Is that really a man of the people? But here's the thing, okay? People talk, well, what happened in Europe is happening here. Well, they're attempting it. And they certainly have had a lot of gains. And, with the Nick Shirley reporting, we're getting a lot of information about how the Democrats have moved people around the country to do their bidding, right? All these Somali fraud operations we're seeing all over the United States. And Mamdani, while we're being colonized, while we're being taken over, while they're moving things around and running people for office like Mamdani, Ilhan Omar, and others, luckily for the most part, it's been isolated in blue cities and states. I'm not saying that's a good thing or makes it okay, but it hasn't spread to the red cities or states yet, at the state level at least. There could be a blue city and a red state. But it's important for us to call all these things out as they happen. Now, if you'd like to support my channel, please go to mypillow.com. Use my promo code Kane at checkout. The next mayor of Minnesota, Mike Lindell, has incredible deals. The New Year's sale is going on right now with my promo code Kane. Look at this. You can get the MyPillow 6-piece towel set, New Year's sale, just $49.98. The MyPillow 100% Giza cotton dream sheets, just $29.98. The premium My Pillow that has the Giza cotton cover on it. This is the luxury My Pillow. I have all these, by the way. $24.98. These are huge discounts. The My Pillow slippers, just $39.98. All styles, the slip-ons, the moccasin-styled ones. Many types of blankets and comforters and such that are for sale just at huge savings. I mean, look at this. You can get the plush My Pillow blanket for just $25. Waffle blankets. The My Pillow quilt, under $100 now, all with my promo code Kane at checkout. And remember, you can use my promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, on all the specials at mypillow.com, not just the ones that I talk about. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back. Do mealtimes feel more stressful than satisfying in your home? You're not alone. Between busy schedules, picky eaters, and rising grocery costs, eating healthy can feel impossible. That's why Dennis Heikkinen wrote the family-friendly Healthy Eating Cookbook, available on Amazon. This practical, easy-to-use cookbook is packed with over 100 simple, nutritious, kid-approved recipes designed for real families and real life. Every meal is easy to prepare, budget-friendly, and made to help your whole family enjoy breakfast, lunch, dinner, and even snacks without spending hours in the kitchen. Whether you're a busy parent, a beginner cook, or just trying to build healthier habits at home, the family-friendly Healthy Eating Cookbook gives you the confidence to cook with ease and bring joy back to your life. Order your copy right now on Amazon and Kindle, paperback, and free with Kindle Unlimited. The family-friendly Healthy Eating Cookbook on Amazon. Ever wanted to grab a text from a screenshot and send it without having to log into a site or app that's plastered with ads? Free text from image.com keeps it simple. No sign-in, no faff. Drop a pic, copy the words. Try free text from image.com. On the line, we have Bruce. Bruce is a client of Jupiter Joe Thomas. He heard me talking with Joe Thomas about annuities and what a great deal they are, and he went in with his wife, and now he's a client. Hey, Bruce, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Brian.
So tell me about your experience with Jupiter Joe Thomas.
A fine gentleman. We sat down with Joe, and we explained everything to him, and we brought all our information, and he worked everything out great.
The cool thing about annuities is your money's never at risk. You're guaranteed a revenue stream for the rest of your life, but there's a bonus, really a signing bonus, where you can make a boatload of money before you even leave Joe Thomas's office. Can you talk a little bit about that, Bruce?
Well, that's where I was surprised when we sat down. We talked about the bonuses, and to my amazement, it was 10%, and there was even another one that's bigger.
Wow, that's amazing. So you made 10% on your money before you even got back in your car.
Yeah, it was more than that, but it was great.
Listen, guys, do what Bruce did. Give Jupiter Joe Thomas a call. You can set up a free consultation either on the phone or in the office, and Joe Thomas will put together a custom proposal just for you. His number is 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999, and online at jupiterjoe.com. All right, Bruce, thanks so much.
All right, thank you, Brian.
All right, we're back. It's the Brian Craig Show. So, with Mamdani, I'm going to be following it because it's important to follow. I'm not going to let this guy go out and take one of the great American founding principles of rugged individualism and say he's going to replace that with communism. My goodness. The United States, capitalism defeated communism worldwide. Communism has failed everywhere. What country was a communist country or is today that has not failed or is failing? And if you look at any country, like as an example, Vietnam, okay? If you look, the reason, why Vietnam has not collapsed as a country, although they live in poverty. You can live as I see people online that are Americans that have moved to Vietnam and they're living for like less than $300 a month. So it's a country in extreme poverty. But what has kept Vietnam from not collapsing like Cuba is that they've embraced capitalism in Vietnam. So there are a couple of places like that that have embraced capitalism. But if you look at any place in this world that is a true communist country, it's either failed or failing because it doesn't work. Rugged individualism is what worked. And, the important thing to understand about Mamdani is he only is the mayor of New York City because of low voter turnout. I'm going to spend, here we are. I know yesterday was the first, today's the second, but, this is kind of like the first work day of the new year, although Monday is. Probably a lot of people are off today. It made it a long weekend. I get it. But I'm not taking any time off here. I'm even going to be live streaming from our cruise this year as much as possible, guys. So, because this year's midterm elections are so important. And the one thing that's important is voter turnout. If you remember Mamdani, who's parading around like he has popular support, nothing could be further from the truth. He won the primary on a lark because Governor Cuomo and his team didn't take him as a serious candidate. And Mamdani got a few people to turn out and vote, and he won. The general election, they only had 16% voter turnout among registered voters in New York for the general election. So he won. So what that shows you is low voter turnout. And the reason they had a low voter turnout is because the media, even conservative media, convinced people that Mamdani was unbeatable. So that resulted in a low turnout, and that's why we have this idiot communist mayor of New York. So it's a lesson. The midterm elections can easily be won if we have a large turnout. We got to swamp them at the polls. And you're going to hear me talking about that probably pretty much, if not every day, throughout all of 2026, because that's more important than everything. You know Trump is right on the issues. You know the issues, you know the positions. We're going to cover the news and everything as they develop every day on the program this year. But the main message is we need to swamp them at the polls, both in the primaries and in the general in November, mostly the one in November. And then we will win. All right, let's take a call or two. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jason from Spokane.
Hey, Jason, what's on your mind?
Hey, we're talking about voting. In my last conversation with you with your guest, I think we got off on the wrong foot. I asked you about whether or not MAGA would survive past 2028 when Trump is gone. And you and I are going to disagree about J.D. Vance, but I think we may come to a head and come to an agreement when it comes to voting. I just want to ask you a question. Do you believe in one person, one vote, or do you believe in a sort of weighted voting that perhaps maybe the top, let's say, breed of American that has maybe a more investment in the country should be the people that have voting rights?
One man, one vote.
Okay.
And by the way, your weighted voting, your weighted voting is handled by the Electoral College. That's how so no, it's one man, one vote. And the Electoral College equalizes it. Hold on one second while I answer these other lines. I mean, I don't know why you would oppose that. You don't oppose that, do you? One man, one vote?
I believed that when I voted for Trump in 2016. And what I have recently become amenable to is the idea of weighted voting, specifically on the basis that I'm not actually sure where the idea of one person, one vote comes from, because it seems obvious to me that when it comes to American citizenry, there is because of our inherent diversity, there is a wide swath of principles that people use to come to a conclusion on who to vote for. What you're talking, I know you. I know you feel you're a highly informed and educated person, but you just speak in gobbledygook. Nothing you said is, I know you'll disagree with this, but you're not making any coherent thoughts. You've got a nice speaking voice. You've got a good vocabulary. You speak well, but you just speak in gibberish. Nothing you said is relevant or makes sense.
It's ridiculous. Okay. It's ridiculous and over cerebral.
Okay, I won't. I won't. I'll take that jab on the chin, and I'll retort with, what do you think I meant by saying that?
I'm not going to sit here and define what I think you think. This is what I think about what you think.
Okay.
It's one man, one vote. That's how it's always been in this country. Okay. And what weighted voting is for a way for the political power brokers, like the senator in Alaska who brought it to Alaska, to maintain power over the people. Weighted voting is the way of tyrants. One man, one vote.
Well,
and then we have the Electoral College so that one state can't rule the whole country, or two states.
The history of voting rights has actually been a roller coaster. It hasn't always been one man, one vote.
Sure it has.
At the inception of this country, only wealthy landowners could vote.
Well, there was good reason for that. I would support going back to that.
Wait. Okay. So, okay, this is perfect. This is what I wanted to get to. Is the optimal scenario, right?
That's the optimal scenario. Now, I don't recall offhand how much property could be dollars, right? It could be be land. I don't know what the dollar amount in 2026 of dollars adjusted for inflation you'd have to be to vote. But our very wise and brilliant founding fathers, why do you think they required that? It had to be a property owner to vote. Why do you think they threw that in there? Very smart move. Why do you think?
Well, at the inception of this country, we had just come out of a very long and bloody war, and the nature of having a generational investment in the country is that there may have actually been plenty of citizenry that not only did not plan on having kids due to the war.
No. You're getting too gobbledygook again. Did you go to college?
Okay.
Did you go to college?
No. I mean, I have a biology degree, but I haven't been using it.
But you've been to college.
I have been to college.
Yeah. See, this is over education. I went to college. I'm a college graduate too. You don't hear me talking gibberish. The reason that the founding fathers, had the requirement of only property owners could vote is because they understood before it had even been developed, communism, that if everyone could vote, eventually the have-nots would vote to redistribute the property of the haves to them. And when you see Zohran Mamdani talk about collectivism, that's exactly what it is. It was to prevent communism, although it had not been invented yet or developed communism. They knew the concept. And that's why they required that. And so many of the problems we have in this country today are because we have these wealth redistributors who are voting to seize the property of people who have property to them.
Okay.
That's why it's not a history lesson. This is the topic you brought up it is open phones on Friday. So, I'm talking about it, but most of the problems we have today in this country are because the have-nots are voting to steal things away from hardworking people that have acquired something in their life.
Yes, I did bring this up for a reason because your topic that I've been listening to these past couple of minutes has been Mamdani, and I did want to ask you this as a preface to the Mamdani topic ultimately, which is your I don't know if I want to call it a claim, but your reasoning is that Mamdani won because of low voter turnout. You did say that, right?
They had 16% turnout among registered voters in New York City in the general election.
Okay, perfect.
Curtis Lewa helped.
Okay. Do you think that the average New York conservative vote weighs the same as the average New York Democrat vote?
No, I think a lot of Democrats in New York, if they would have had a large voter turnout, Governor Cuomo would have won, another liberal Democrat. But at least he's an American in his heart and mind, as corrupt and as lowlife as he is. He's a scumbag. But it's better than a foreigner who wants to wipe out the American culture and civilization, which is what he talked about doing in his speech yesterday, Mamdani. It was literally the lesser of two evils. And Curtis Lewa was hopeless. But Governor Cuomo, at least American civilization and culture would have survived in Gracie Manor.
And I appreciate your analysis, Brian, but I really want to focus on I agree with you that it was low voter turnout that resulted in Mamdani. But when it comes to the value or the weight of the vote, when you said that you would be fine with voting returning to wealthy landowners, did you mean that as in tomorrow, or did you mean that sort of?
I'm not advocating for it, but it wouldn't bother me too much.
Okay, perfect. I meant, so you're talking about it in principle.
Yeah.
Okay, just in the long term, it would be nice if we went that way, in that direction.
I wouldn't be opposed to it. I mean, I'm not advocating for it.
Okay. But what I'm trying to get at, the deeper part of this conversation, the meat and potatoes of this, is that you, in principle, do seem to agree with me that votes have weight to them.
Well, so what? Yeah, of course.
That is a contradiction of one person, one vote. It's an inherent contradiction.
No, see, this is what happens when you go to college and you take a political science class with some snooty professor. You talk like a snooty professor.
Well, what's the disagreement?
The disagreement is, what I told you is, you're talking in gibberish.
Okay.
I'm like President Trump. I like plain speaking talk, not abstract political theory and gobbledygook, which is what you're speaking.
I will try to speak in plain English. I won't.
I understand what you're saying, but I talk in real world applications, not in theory like you do.
Let's talk real world then. We are moving. I believe. I firmly believe this as a card-carrying conservative that voted for Trump. I firmly believe that we are moving in a direction of Democrats trying to get illegals the ability to vote.
They've already done that. That's why they've given them driver's licenses. They've already done that.
Okay, perfect. That to me means that so long as Americans hold the idea that one person, one vote is how it should be, we are headed towards a very big problem.
No, we have. See, what happens is in these blue states, you have outlaws running them. See, to vote, there's a law. To vote, you have to be a U.S. citizen and 18 years of age. There's some other requirements too, like with felony convictions and such. There can be some restrictions.
Sure.
But you have to be 18 years old and a U.S. citizen. And in these blue states, it's like when I was in high school, there were a couple of places that would sell alcohol to high school kids. You could go in and buy alcohol any day of the week. They didn't care. It didn't mean that it was legal to do so. It just meant they were breaking the law, and they got away with it for a time. I got to run, but call me again sometime. All right, take care. If you're on hold, stand by. We're going to be live on the air in about 90 seconds. The radio show starts in about 90 seconds. So I'm going to do an intro, and if you're on hold, stand by. Now, it is Friday, so it is open phones, open MAGA Mike Friday. You're welcome to call in about anything and everything on your mind on Friday's show. You're not limited to the topics that I bring up, but there are a lot of important things. I am going to go back over Mamdani. I'll do a quick open, take a call or two, and then I'll get back into it. So if you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll-free and pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. If you're watching on the live stream with the green wall behind me, you need to go to my main stream to see and hear all the audio and video that I show. There's a direct link to that in the description of the episode. All right. Okay, we got about 30 seconds or so. Stand by. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. Welcome to everyone who's new. Here we go. Welcome, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. It's Friday, January 2nd, 2026. So I don't know. Are people back to work today, or are most people taking a long weekend? There were a lot more cars on the road today when I went out than there were yesterday morning. And certainly safer on the roads today than it was yesterday morning. I saw a couple of swerving people when I was going to Starbucks yesterday morning. We are here live. Call us on hold, stand by. I'll go to the phones in a moment. And of course, we have our Islamic mayor of New York City in office for his second day. Zohran Mamdani is the mayor, and I'm going to talk about that. And I was doing the pre-show, for those that don't know, before the radio show starts. I start 30, 40 minutes early, live streaming on YouTube, taking live calls. So I'm going to take a call or two, and then I'll get into everything Mamdani. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is James from Detroit.
James in Detroit. What's on your mind? Oh, hold on, James. Let me answer these other lines. My phones are ringing off the hook. All right, James in Detroit. What say you?
Yeah, man. I just wanted to touch up on what the last caller was saying a bit about, how MAGA's. I think MAGA's going to fall off pretty soon here. Just because the
Let me ask you, where are you from? You're in Detroit. Why do I hear a Canadian accent out of your mouth if you're from Detroit? Why do you have a Canadian accent?
Are you pointing out the Canadian accent to try and dodge Trump?
Well, no, you told me that you're calling from Detroit, Michigan, and you have a Canadian accent. Why do you have a Canadian accent? You surprised I picked up on your Canadian accent? You said about. You said another word that sounded Canadian. Why do you have a Canadian accent? If you're in Detroit, why'd you lie?
Are you going to address the Trump?
No, I'm not going to. Nope, I'm not. Nope.
Are you going to address the Trump Epstein files?
Nope.
So you're a coward?
Nope.
Why do you want to suck Trump's dick?
I've got other things. Oh, there we go. Boom. I've got other things to talk about. Oh, my goodness. First one of the day, Mike. Oh, boy. First one of the year, first one of 2026. If you're on hold, hang in there. Our number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. A lot of times, a lot of you may not think I listen when you call in. I listen to every syllable of every word that comes out of the mouth of every caller to this program. And it may not seem like it. I may not stop you down and call you out on everything. But believe me, I'm listening to all of it. So Zohran Mamdani was sworn in twice yesterday. Does anyone know, he did this first thing with accused mortgage fraudster Letitia James, swore him in underground at this subway station underneath City Hall right after midnight on the 1st. Does anyone know what the significance of that being underground in that subway station was? When I looked at it, it looked like Gotham City in a Batman movie, right? Didn't it? Didn't it look like a movie set almost? I don't know why he did that. But then later in the day, he got sworn in again by Bernie Sanders. I'm not sure what the significance of the subway station was. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Gene Presnell.
Only first names, please. Only first names. Gene from North Carolina.
Gene
What's on your mind?
I was just going to say, why do we need more immigrants in our country and stuff like that? I don't understand that.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we've been fighting for like 250 years to get along with each other here in America, and then you want to try to assimilate somebody into your country and combat another.
Okay, now are you a supporter of Donald Trump?
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay. You are aware.
100%.
Okay. You are aware that Donald Trump is a first-generation American, the child of an immigrant?
Gotcha.
Did you know? Are you aware that all of Trump's children, all of them except one, Tiffany, all of Trump's children, Don Jr., Eric, Ivanka, Barron, all except Tiffany are also first-generation Americans, the children of immigrant? mothers. Did you know that?
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. So where in President Trump's platform does he say we don't want more immigrants?
He doesn't.
Okay. So, we're not against immigrants or immigration. Okay. Excuse me. I'm finishing a thought here. We're against illegal immigration, and President Trump just wants better screening so that the people that do immigrate to this country are people that we need and have something to offer. That's why he came out with the gold card and such.
I'm a firm believer.
Okay. So why do you say, why do we need more? If it weren't for immigrants, we wouldn't have President Trump. If we, or his great children.
Yeah, that's understandable. I agree with you 100% on that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's it?
But I tell you what, there's got to be more screening and stuff like that. Because,
well, that's what President Trump's doing. There is screening now. There's screening. People are being deported. People are having visas revoked. There's all kinds of that going on. Mm-hmm.
Well, hell yeah. Thank God.
All right, take care. See, what that guy is, he called a couple days ago. And do you know what that guy is? Seminar caller. He's a seminar caller. He's not a Trump guy. He's a liberal guy. He's a never-Trumper, a liberal, a Democrat, or some rhino. And he calls in with this accent, and talking about being anti-immigrant and all that. Thinking that, see, this is one of the reasons the fake MAGA callers fall apart. When fake MAGA callers call this program, they're trying to pass themselves off as MAGA, but since they're a never-Trumper or usually a liberal Democrat, they can't do it. And the reason they can't do it is because their portrayal of being a Trump supporter is based on all these negative stereotypes, none of which are true. We got to stop all these here immigrants coming in here, y'all. We've been fighting for this. With the fake Southern accent. Give me a break. It's amazing to me. If MAGA were what they said it was, like a racist group of people, they wouldn't have to pretend to be racist and fake being MAGA. MAGA would just be saying racist things. Oh, my goodness. The rest of you on hold, hang in there. We're starting off the new year with, some strange folk. The number to call in is toll-free, 888-465-2631. It is Friday. Friday is always open phones. You can call in about anything and everything on your mind on Friday's show. You don't have to even comment on the topics that Steve and I bring up. The number is toll-free no matter where you're listening, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Do you suffer from neuropathy? Maybe you are suffering from neuropathy and you don't even know it. Here's the symptoms. Listen. Do you have numbness, pain, burning, tingling in your hands and feet, muscle weakness? Are you dizzy? You falling down from time to time or all of the time? Do you have that feeling of pins and needles in your hands and feet? Maybe you have no feeling at all. Well, if you have neuropathy, you know what I'm talking about. It's rough. And if you have those symptoms that have not been diagnosed, you may have neuropathy. You both, whether you have been diagnosed or have these symptoms, call Lighthouse Medical. Lighthouse Medical has a treatment for neuropathy that works and lasts. Steve Kane had his neuropathy treatment over 3.5 years ago. They rid him of his neuropathy. He saw relief from his symptoms after the first treatment. 3.5 years later, not only did they rid him of neuropathy with that treatment, 3.5 years later, his neuropathy has not returned. Lighthouse Medical can help you no matter where you're located. Mention Steve Kane when you call so you can take advantage of their no-charge consultation. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. We'll be right back.
Hi, it's Dr. Philip Appleton. You've been hearing my commercials about bye-bye pain, my laser weight treatment, but today's commercial and today's spot is going to be on Tom Laporta, Laporta Roofing. What an experience I've had with him and his company. They've done a few of my friends' houses and my son and my house, and there's never a downtime. They're old school, which means you call them up, they'll be there. How many times have you called somebody up and they never show up, or they give you an excuse? Weather, traffic, whatever. Tom Laporta, what a class act. The workmanship, the magnificent teamwork they have. I recommend them 100%.
Thanks, Dr. Appleton. Now do what Dr. Appleton did. Pick up your phone and call Tom Laporta from Laporta Roofing on your cell phone. 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, laportaroofing.com. Do you want healthier chickens, stronger immunity, and rich golden yolked eggs without relying on chemicals? Of course you do, but how do you do it, and where do you even begin? That's easy with the new book from author Mary Butler, The Herbal Hen House, Nurturing Your Chickens with Nature's Remedies, available on Amazon. Author Mary Butler is a devoted chicken keeper and herbal enthusiast who brings more than a decade of hands-on experience straight to your coop. The Herbal Hen House is a warm, practical guide that shows you how to use safe, effective herbs to support digestion, boost immunity, and improve egg quality, as well as help prevent common flock problems naturally. When you read The Herbal Hen House, you'll discover easy, beginner-friendly herbal remedies, simple DIY blends that you can make at home, as well as clear guidance on what's safe, what to avoid, and how to care for chickens at every stage of life, from chicks to senior hens. Whether you're raising your very first flock or have been tending chickens for years, the Herbal Hen House gives you the confidence to ditch those harsh chemicals and raise healthier, happier chickens the natural way. The Herbal Hen House, Nurturing Your Chickens with Natural Remedies, from author Mary Butler, is available right now on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, and hardcover. Order your copy right now. Your chickens will thank you. All right, now we're still in break on the radio. Let me see how much longer is the break. Hold on. Okay. All right, we'll be back in less than 2 minutes. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm going to go to the phones after the break. Well, listen, guys. I don't mind people. I want people to call in who are not MAGA, who aren't Republican, who are liberal. You're all welcome to call in. But admit you are who you are, so far as your political philosophy. I don't mind talking to a jerk from Canada. But don't call in and tell me you're in Detroit. Tell me you're in Canada, okay? Don't call in with some fake, don't call in with some fake accent that's so fake. I could, as soon as I heard the first syllable, I knew it was a fake accent. Admit it. The reason that these seminar callers do that, they claim to be MAGA when they're not, is they know as Democrats they have no credibility. So to have any credibility, they have to try to pass themselves off as MAGA, as a Republican. If you're new, my name's Brian. I host a morning radio show and a whole bunch of FM radio stations. I live stream here on YouTube all the time, including when I'm on the radio. So make sure you subscribe, and I'm always taking live calls. The number is pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631. Toll-free call. We got about 30 seconds. And we'll be back. 888-465-2631. Oh, you're a communist? Oh, boy. That means you're broke. You have no money. All right. All right, it's a new year of the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. Back to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Richie.
Oh, hey, Richie.
Brian. I love the fact that we have this new guy in New York as the
it's
mayor,
awesome.
Not for nothing.
It's awesome.
100%, because like he said, now you got the collectivism instead of individualism, which means that it doesn't matter if you're a Christian family, a Jewish family, or an atheist family with a husband, wife, and children in the house, and the man is supporting the family, or the woman and the man are supporting the family, that's okay. Under this guy, the city is going to now take over his responsibility, and he could actually go into Queens and pick up one of those sex workers that he says is okay. Mamdani.
He said he wanted to legalize prostitution. Yeah, great idea.
Yeah. So now the man could leave the house and commit adultery against his wife, but don't worry, the city is to the rescue because they will pay her rent, they will put her up, and because she belongs there.
Yeah.
Every New Yorker belongs in New York. Whether they can afford it or not. Now, this is such a hypocritical thing. Let me tell you something. I was just an average worker, and I didn't make millions of dollars. So there's like a department store in Fort Lauderdale called Neiman Marcus. You know, I would never walk in that store because I can't afford it. I don't belong
Or remember
there.
the days of Burdines, right? If you want to go back further.
Yeah.
Or these days, Publix. Oh, my goodness, Publix.
Yeah, but I can't. In other words, I couldn't afford Neiman Marcus. I wouldn't walk into Neiman Marcus because you would get a wallet for like $500.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm not going to Neiman Marcus. The bottom line is this: if you can't afford New York, you don't belong in New York.
Correct.
What makes everybody in New York have to live in New York? They could go and drive into New York. They don't have to live in the city. This guy is such a commie. I mean, not for nothing. I don't want somebody taking over my life telling me that, first of all, they're going to pay my rent, they're going to put me on government roll, and they're going to educate me, they're going to indoctrinate me into their communist system.
Here's the thing with Mamdani, okay? Because the rule of thumb for me is let Mamdani be Mamdani. You know, he's got all this rhetoric, and none of it's going to work. What we learned from Kash Patel and Dan Bongino was this. You can run around for years telling the people the way things should be, but once you're in charge, it's a lot more difficult to make it happen if you don't know what you're doing. So you know what I mean. So he's going to be as effective as Kash Patel and Bongino with the lawfare people.
But there's very bad consequences. I'll give you an example. Okay, you got to call for prayer. I don't know how many times they do that, like 5 or 10 times.
5 times a day. 5 times a day. 5. 5
times a day. They're gonna have it on loudspeakers. They already have it on loudspeakers in the Bronx.
In Michigan,
I've already seen videos where they disrupt the main streets. You can't walk. Everything is disrupted. They're out there praying to Allah.
Yep.
In the street. Now, I don't mind a religious organization renting a space like they did it when the Panthers at the Panthers Arena in Sunrise, or what they do in New York City. They take over Yankee Stadium. They rent it. I don't mind it. Get them up. But to obstruct people in the street with a religion is outrageous.
Well, you know, here's a real question. Here we are, 24 years after the Al-Qaeda 9/11 terrorist attacks. We have a Muslim mayor now. He was sworn in on the Quran twice yesterday, and he picked as his chief counsel. And hold on, Rich, while I answer these. He picked as his chief counsel not just a Muslim lawyer, but a lawyer who represents Al-Qaeda terrorists. To oversee the city where Ground Zero is located. And I would argue that I don't think we won the war on terror. It's been lost. And New York, who said never forget, it seems like they forgot.
Well, the Muslim Brotherhood, which he is a member of, I believe, is the organization that supports Hamas and all the others. They are how can I say this? There's a political branch of the terrorism. And not Muslims. Now, all Muslims are not Muslim Brotherhood. You'll hear Muslim Brotherhood. I told you, there was a cleric on PBD podcast. He's a cleric for freedom. Yeah. He says the Muslim Brotherhood is the worst thing in the world. It's not Muslim. It's a Muslim.
I'm telling you, this is the thing. Mamdani's main purpose is not communism or democratic socialism. It's to normalize Islamic government, and there's this country's being colonized, and
you heard the Palestinians?
Yeah, they went nuts when he said Palestinians. They went nuts.
You didn't hear nothing else. They went nuts because they know this. I watched the marches that went on for the last 2 years in New York City. I watched what's going on in Dearborn, Michigan. I see the Somalis in Minnesota. Oh, and by the way, what I understand today, where George Floyd was killed, where he was not killed, where he passed away. That whole area, police will not go in there, and no emergency equipment goes in there. These people have.
Do you blame them?
Actually, if
you arrest somebody, you could go to prison.
Yeah, in that particular area where he was, where they had the problem.
It's a police-free zone.
Police won't go there.
Yeah, and yeah.
So you got people having heart attacks, people getting sick. Crime has gone crazy in that area. This is what they want to do to the country.
Yeah, that's right.
And the police are going to really be walking off the job. You're going to see a lot of the next 5 months is going to be a disgrace. New York is really in trouble. Really in trouble.
All right, Richie, take care. Appreciate the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. Doc from Texas.
Hey, Texas.
Hey, man. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, look, I just want to say this, and I'm not going to leave you home. Stay long. Okay. Excuse me. You talking about Zohran Mamdani in New York. You live in Florida. Why would you worry so much about Zohran Mamdani in New York?
Because New York City is the hub of the world. It is our most important city. So goes New York. So goes the country with something like this.
But Brian, why are you worried about? You got a good governor in Florida.
Because New York is part of the United States, and New York City is the most important city in the world, and that's why. I'm not, because New York is New York. Let New York worry about New York. You worry about Florida and the city you stay in. Let worry about what your governor is doing. I worry about our country. I'm concerned about our entire country. Not just I'm not some self-centered narcissist like you that is only interested in the area that I'm in. I'm interested in all of the country.
I'm worried about this whole country. But New York, let New York handle New York's business.
So what is your opinion of an Al-Qaeda lawyer being the chief counsel to the mayor of New York, where Al-Qaeda brought down the World Trade Center buildings?
Okay, so wait a minute. So you're blaming him?
No, I'm not blaming him. Listen, Mamdani picked as chief counsel to the mayor of New York a Muslim attorney who has represented Al-Qaeda terrorists. Do you believe it is appropriate? Al-Qaeda brought down the towers, right? 3,000 Americans were killed.
He did his job as a lawyer. Maybe you know what, Brian? There's lawyers every day defend child molesters. They have to do their job. Hello?
Yeah. No, I would not support an attorney who represented pedos to be the chief counsel either. This is not. This is a different thing. Where were you? Where were you on 9/11?
You know where I was? I was working at an elementary school. I was cutting grass.
Okay. Okay. Now let me stop you there. Now stop there. Everyone who was around then, we all know where we were, what we were doing, and who we were with. That was a historic day. The first time since the War of 1812 that there was an attack in the homeland of the United States. Hawaii, was a territory, wasn't even a state at the time. Okay, and it was the worst attack because Pearl Harbor at least was a military target. This was an attack by Al-Qaeda, 100% on civilians.
I don't blame.
Well, I'm not finished. Now, Mamdani, throughout his campaign, was asked multiple times on multiple interviews to condemn the global intifada. He never did, not once. And 9/11 was a part of the global intifada. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts is, Brian, I'm not blaming. I'm blaming the 9/11 on the people that did it. I'm not blaming on everybody, all Muslims.
I'm not blaming him for 9/11. But he wouldn't condemn. No, if you're not condemning the global intifada, you're not condemning 9/11. So he's refused to condemn 9/11. No, I'm not. You're just repeating that. Listen, I'm late for the break. Your suffering will end soon enough. You're just trying to discount what I'm saying. If someone does not excuse me, it's not racist. It's not racist.
Yes, it is.
I'm of the opinion that if you will not condemn 9/11, you should not hold public office in this country. If you will not condemn 9/11, yeah.
Well, Trump didn't condemn the January 6th. He holding office.
January 6th was not 9/11. Yeah. All right. Take care. We'll be right back. Do you guys agree with me that if you will not condemn 9/11, you should not be holding public office? What are your thoughts on that? Ever wanted to grab a text from a screenshot and send it without having to log into a site or app that's plastered with ads? Free text from image.com keeps it simple. No sign-in, no faff. Drop a pic, copy the words. Try free text from image.com.
This is George Colony. I'm in the real estate business in Fort Lauderdale, Florida with Kai's Real Estate. I've been in business for 6 decades. People often ask me, what's the right time to buy or sell real estate? To tell you the truth, it's always the right time. You just need to have the right advice from the right advisor. You could call me anytime because I answer my phone on the first ring. My number is 954-801-7320. That's my personal cell phone number. And I answer it on the first ring every time. Please give me a call. I'm happy to answer any question that you have. My cell phone number is 954-801-7320.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I can get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
In demanding careers, confidence is tested every day. But what if how you show up could help you stand stronger? Don't Wear Your Hustle by Osa Him Run Win blends real frontline social work experiences with practical lessons on resilience, criticism, and professional identity. This isn't just about fashion. It's about presence, confidence, and surviving pressure without losing yourself. Ideal for social workers, frontline professionals in high-pressure roles, and students. Available now on Amazon. Search Don't Wear Your Hustle today. All right, we will be back in about 90 seconds. If you're on hold, stand by. Okay. And we'll be back shortly, guys. Give me a yes or no. If you will not condemn 9/11, should you not hold public office in this country? If you will not condemn 9/11? What do you think? I say yes to that. I don't even think that's any office, especially mayor of New York and president. Okay, we got about 30 seconds. All right, we're back. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show. It's Friday, January 2nd. Now, again, it is Friday, meaning open phones, open MAGA Mike Friday. You're welcome to call in about any and everything on your mind. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Here we go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Once, twice. All right, you missed your chance. You know, with the last caller before if you're on hold, hang in there. With the last caller from Texas, I'm of the opinion that if you will not condemn 9/11, you should not hold public office in this country, especially mayor of New York City and president of the United States. But you shouldn't hold any office. I don't care if you're running for dog catcher. Okay, you shouldn't. If you can't condemn that, you shouldn't hold public office. And to not condemn the global intifada is to refuse to condemn 9/11, since 9/11 was a part of that. So here's Mamdani in his inaugural speech.
In so doing, we will provide our own answer to that age-old question. Who does New York belong to? Well, my friends, we can look to Madiba and the South African Freedom Charter.
Okay. Now, why in the heck, in this great country that has the greatest founding documents ever written, right, would we go to whatever that Modibu, whatever that name is, why would we go to any charter from South Africa or any other African nation, or for that matter, any other nation other than the great United States of America? And this is what I mean when I talk about Mamdani is an American in name only. And South Africa is a third world pit of hell that, you know, they had all those years of apartheid. And since apartheid ended, they've got reverse apartheid going on now. But he's an American in name only. Yeah, he's an American citizen, but he's not in his mind or his heart. And why would you go to a charter of any other country, especially an African nation? South Africa is one of the worst. And say we should model anything in this country based on what they're doing.
In so doing, we will provide our own answer to that age-old question. Who does New York belong to? Well, my friends, we can look to Madiba and the South African Freedom Charter.
Wow.
New York belongs to all who live in it.
Okay, now when he says that, if you see the video of the speech, you can tell he's very angry. But what he's saying is, you Americans, this isn't your city. No. Anyone who's here is a New Yorker, meaning if you're an illegal, it's your city. And he says that he has anger in his voice.
Together, we will tell a new story of our city. This will not be a tale of one city governed only by the 1%. Nor
keep in mind, now he is one of the 1%, since he and his family are millionaires.
It will be a tale of two cities, the rich versus the poor. It will be a tale of 8.5 million cities, each of them a New Yorker with hopes and fears, each a universe, each of them woven together. The authors of this story will speak Pashto and Mandarin, Yiddish and Creole. They will pray in
I didn't hear English. Anyone speaking English in the new New York?
Mosques, at shul, at church, at gurudwaras and mandirs and temples.
What's a gurudwara? I don't know what that is. And that other thing at the end, I don't know what that is either.
And many will not pray at all. They will be Russian Jewish immigrants in Brighton Beach, Italians in Rossville, and Irish families in Woodhaven, many of whom came here with nothing but a dream of a better life, a dream which has withered away. They will be young people in cramped Marble Hill apartments where the walls shake when the subway passes. They will be black homeowners in St. Albans, whose homes represent a physical testament to triumph over decades of lesser paid labor and redlining. They will be Palestinian New Yorkers in Bay Ridge.
Hear how they go nuts? Oh my goodness. If you're a Jew, get out of New York. They're turning the whole city into the Columbia protest or the NYU protest. I mean, did you hear this? He says Palestinian, they go nuts. There's sound of silence until he says Palestinian, and then they go nuts.
Whose homes represent a physical testament to triumph over decades of lesser paid labor and redlining. They will be Palestinian New Yorkers in Bay Ridge. Who will no longer have to contend with a politics that speaks of universalism and then makes them the exception. Few of these 8.5 million will fit into neat and easy boxes. Some will be voters from Hillside Avenue or Fordham Road who supported President Trump a year before they voted for me, tired of being failed by their party's establishment. The majority will not use the language that we often expect from those who wield influence. I welcome the change. For too long, those fluent in the good grammar of civility have deployed decorum to mask agendas of cruelty. Many of these people have been betrayed by the established order. But in our administration, their needs will be met. Their hopes and dreams and interests will be reflected transparently in government. They will shape our future. And if for too long these communities have existed as distinct from one another, we will draw this city closer together. We will replace the frigidity of rugged individualism with the warmth of collectivism. If our campaign demonstrated that the people of New York yearn for solidarity, then let this government foster it. Because no matter what you eat, how you pray, or where you come from, the words that most define us are the two we all share: New Yorkers.
Okay. Yeah, pretty bad, and it's pretty scary too. That thing at the end, rejecting rugged individualism and embracing collectivism, that is 100% communism. 100% communism. Without question. And I was talking earlier, this rugged individualism is, I know some may say, oh, it's just a phrase, it's just a term, it's just a couple of words. That is the rugged individualism is the term that was used to settle this great country of ours, right? The frontiersmen, the wagon trains, the cowboys, the gold rush people, all these great people that settled without any EBT cards or Section 8 housing or running water or electricity, nothing, right? No welfare checks coming. And that's rugged individualism. That's why we have a country today. And these words and phrases that Mamdani used in his speech yesterday, he is very much talking directly to his people, his supporters, who obviously are Palestinians. You hear how they went nuts when he said Palestinians. It is so important, in my opinion, to call him out on everything, because if he's allowed to take one of our founding principles, rugged individualism, and toss it out and replace it with communism 101, we're going to lose this country. Now, I think he'll fail. I think he'll be as effective as Kash Patel and Dan Bongino bringing the lawfare people to justice. He's never done anything in his life. He's a spoiled child of very wealthy parents, and everything's been handed to him his whole life. He's not had to produce. He's gotten a participation trophy probably the first time he went number 2 out of his diaper. They probably gave him a trophy through a party. Okay? So, he's never been held accountable ever before. And he's made a lot of promises. And making those promises actual policies that work are a whole nother thing. So the chances are he'll be a failure. But never underestimate the stupidity of Democrats, right? They put him in office. The turnout at his inauguration, a lot of liberals out there cheering on communist nonsense. But when he is unable to deliver on his communist dreams, they'll get upset, no doubt about it. Now, the next mayor of the great state of Minnesota, God willing, of course, is the great Mike Lindell, the inventor of the MyPillow. And, of course, incredible deals going on. There's a New Year's sale going on. Remember, you can use our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, on all the specials at MyPillow.com. The New Year's sale is in effect. You can get the 6-piece MyPillow towel set for just $49.98. That's $50 off. The MyPillow 100% Giza cotton dream sheets, just $29.98. This is these Giza dream sheets are amazing. I mean, it was in the low 40s last night. I'm in my 100% Giza cotton dream sheets from MyPillow. I'm warm and toasty in my bed. You're Goldilocks during the cold times like we're in right now. You're warm and toasty. During the summertime, you're cool and comfortable. The premium MyPillow, which is the upscale luxury MyPillow, and has the Giza cotton cover, just $24.98. You can use our promo code KANE at checkout, site-wide at MyPillow.com, not just the things I share. Go to MyPillow.com, support the program, use our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com. Huge sales going on in the MyPillow blankets and comforters as well. order yours. Promo code Kane, Kane, at mypillow.com. Callers on hold, stand by. We'll take a break and be right back. On the line, we have Jamie Levac from Swift Tax, who's just joining us on the program today for the first time. Jamie, good morning.
Good morning, Brian.
You're an accountant. It's not a coincidence we have you on now because, you know, with the big, beautiful bill, the entire tax code has changed. And there's not a single person out there who does not need an accountant, right?
No, of course. I mean, with all the new updates in the tax code, if your accountant is not well versed in the difference between this upcoming year and the year before, you're not going to reap the benefits.
Yeah. You know, there's so many differences. You and I were talking off the air, and this is really an amazing thing. With the big, beautiful bill, there's been a lot of changes for retirees that are receiving Social Security benefits. And not only that, for seniors that are receiving Social Security, but also working. And these are people who may have never had an accountant or not had one for a long time. They really need to give you a call right now. There's been some big changes for Social Security recipients, right?
No, yes, of course. I mean, I live in Florida, and as you know, it's a retirement state. So a lot of people are living on a fixed income. Before, if you were still working and collecting Social Security.
Oh, I hit the wrong commercial there, guys, so I don't have time to play that one out. But I'm going to give you Jamie Levac's number at Swift Tax. Give him a call, 954-773-1587. 954-773-1587. I'm getting great feedback from listeners on his work. If you're on hold, stand by. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Open phone, open MAGA Mike Friday. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. How you doing, man?
I'm doing. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you, sir. So I had a quick question. You're talking about the 9/11. Do you know the name of Larry Silverstein by chance?
The name of what?
Larry Silverstein is his name.
No.
He was the owner, the leaseholder of the Building 7 on 9/11.
Yeah.
That came down, no planes hitting it. So my only point being is, and I am a conspiracy theorist in a way, but on that day, that was a big one. That was the building that had all the Bush's records.
Oh, how convenient. No, I don't subscribe to any of that. You know, we had
well, how do you not?
I'm gonna explain to you what happened. I'll explain to you what happened. It's
well,
open.
I'll explain to you if you're coming.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to sit. No. We all know. I've got to have some control over the con. I'm not going to sit here and go on a lengthy explanation.
Go ahead.
Okay, we just got to the gist of it. You said Building 7 came down, no planes hit it. A couple years back, we had in Miami Beach, that condo collapsed. Remember, there was that condo collapse, killed a bunch of people inside of it in Miami Beach about 3 years ago. Remember this story? It was all over the news. Okay, I just drove by that. I just drove by that actually a couple weeks ago. They're building something new there. That building collapsed. No planes crashed into it either. Do you remember the story?
Yeah, are there explosives?
No explosives. No explosives.
Nothing.
No, there was something, but no planes or no explosives. That building in Miami Beach, which was an old building, had a lot of problems. Next door to it, it was right on the ocean. Next door to it, there was a high-rise being built. And, you know, here in Florida, the ground is very soft. So when they build roads and bridges and buildings, they put these massive pylons into the ground, and they have these machines that push them into the ground. They're massive and they're very loud. I remember those of you in South Florida, you know,
Right.
my mother, my mother lives in the house I grew up in Fort Lauderdale, and I remember when they were building 595, which is all bridges. For years I heard that noise. And what happened, the reason that building collapsed is not because it was old and had problems. That helped. But when they were putting these pylons into the ground right in the lot next door, they were causing seismic events. They were causing man-made earthquakes. And the seismic events caused by the construction is what resulted in that building in Miami Beach with all the people in it collapsing. Building 7 in New York City, you know, when the World Trade Center towers collapsed, it also created an earthquake, as well as a blast radius that went out there, and that's what brought it down.
Why was that the only building that came down other than the other two?
Well, in Miami, that one building was the only one that came down. Who knows? But there was an earthquake. That's why it fell down.
I'm not trying to argue with you, and I don't want to make it lengthy, like you said. But that was the building where all the records of the Bush administration were in, and it got demolished conveniently. That's my point.
What records were in there?
Oh, look at the reports. There's a ton.
Well, how can we look at them? They were all destroyed in Building 7.
That's my point.
Oh, okay. So how do you know that the Bush records and Building 7 would have proved? Listen, we know for a fact that Bush, hold on a second. We know for a fact that George W. Bush lied about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, right? To go to war. Okay.
100%.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't know how many people are dead because of that, right? Internationally. I don't know how many. But I know every time I see a Wounded Warrior commercial or Tunnels to Towers and I see some guy that's missing limbs or he's in a wheelchair or half his body's, that's Bush's we know that he lied about WMDs. There was no justice. So what were in these records in Building 7 that were going to bring the Bush family down?
Oh, there's nothing in there that's going to bring the Bush family down. Well, it actually would. It was their involvement in it. There was people in the building. I have family in New York City and friends.
In Building 7? There were people in Building 7 that were what?
No. In New York, that in World Trade Tower number 1 and 2, they were shut down at nighttime for construction for months and months and months. They planted explosives.
Go and watch, if you want, I watched this week, including New Year's Eve and everything, I watch a lot of live streamers that walk around the streets of New York. It's always, every part of New York is under construction today, right? So you're telling me, so you're telling me that the Bush family knocked down the World Trade Center, right?
I'm not saying they did. They were complicit in the destruction, yes.
Well, wait a minute. Well, why? Why were they complicit in its destruction?
Why would they not? They were part of.
Why would they not? No. Tell me why. Why did Bush allow 9/11 to happen?
Why does every government?
No, you're answering questions. If they brought down the World Trade Center to destroy the records in Building 7. Why did they? What about the plane that went down in Pennsylvania that was heading to D.C. or the plane that hit the Pentagon? Were there Bush records there too that they were trying to get?
No, let's put it this way: what hit the Pentagon?
No, all you do is have questions. You have no answers. 24 years later.
I'm trying to answer you right now. What happened in Pennsylvania? There was a hole in the ground. You should see plane parts. There was nothing. There was a hole in the ground.
There have been plane that when a plane hits. In Miami, since I've lived here in Florida, there's been plane crashes over the years, and there was one big one in the 90s from ValueJet, and it hit in the ground. When planes hit the ground, they're going pretty much the speed of sound, and they actually are. They're going so fast, and there's so much force. They pushed themselves, some of it underground even, and there were plane parts in Pennsylvania. What you saw was after the cleanup. But if this was all about these Bush records and Building 7, why attack D.C. too?
Because it's all a collaborative event.
Were the records? No. One of the planes, either the Pennsylvania plane or the Pentagon plane, was aimed. Excuse me. One of the two planes. We know for a fact, one of the two planes, the target was the White House. It's believed the Pentagon plane was. And the Pennsylvania plane, and the way that Washington is developed is there's trees put in strategic ways to make it difficult from the air, high up at high rate of speed, identify that they couldn't find the White House, so they hit the Pentagon. The plane in Pennsylvania was heading to the Capitol, and it was brought down by the passengers. We know this. We have radio calls from the cockpit when they busted into the cockpit.
That's what they told us. They can lie about anything. Do you not realize reality in this world?
I don't laugh about Scott Beamer, the Let's Roll guy, and others sacrificing their life. That sounded like a laugh. That sounded like a laugh.
I'm laughing about the fact that they can lie to us. Okay, my point real quick. I'll make it quick. How can you land a plane? Pilots said you cannot land a plane into the Pentagon without nosediving. That had to have been a perfect pilot, and that was a hijacker that couldn't even land a plane? That's bullshit.
Okay, there we go. All right, second one of the day, second one of the year, Mike. It's going to be good. Oh, my goodness. See, what happens is when you're talking, this is one thing I've learned over the years, talking to crazy people who call radio shows. Because a lot of mentally ill people call radio shows. It's just the way it is. And when you start to question an insane person and over their insanity, they start to lose it. I want to talk about Friendly Tire in Margate. Oh man, every car in my family is on the road on tires from Friendly Tire in Margate. You can get new tires out the door and on the road for as low as $75 a tire. That's right, because Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to balance, mount, or even dispose of your old tires. And by the way, $75, that's as low as $75 on tires that are brand new and common sizes that fit on some of the most popular vehicles on the road today. Friendly Tire has good use tires in stock too, as low as $35 a tire, and it's the same deal, out the door and on the road. He has all the name brands you know and love, and he also does tire repairs. Give Friendly Mike a call, 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. That's 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate. All right, we're approaching the top of the hour. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll go back to the phones after the top of the hour break. It is open phones. It's if you've noticed from the callers, because it's Friday. It's Open MAGA Mike Friday. The number is 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. And I'm going to tell you, I since the beginning, just with the last caller, since this 9/11 conspiracy stuff began, I've always rejected it from the beginning. The first time I heard 9/11 denialism is, you've heard me mention a few times, after 9/11 we had a couple of imams come in and a person from CARE, and they were telling us how the Israelis did it, the planes were remote controlled, the Jews got out of the buildings before all this stuff. And then we got into the loose change and all that. And I have always rejected it. And I know the arguments against it, and I could go through it, but I'm not going to do that. But let me tell you, when you go into your 9/11 denialism of what happened on that day, it is as disrespectful to those who died on that day as it is that Mamdani won't condemn the global intifada of which 9/11 was a part of. And I just don't have tolerance to sit down and have discussions with crazy people telling me that we attacked ourselves on 9/11. I understand, Bush is a creep, and he lied about WMDs with Dick Cheney, and there's some evil guys, and they did evil things. But no, we were attacked by Al-Qaeda. That's what happened on 9/11. It is well documented. We have a lot of audio from the plane because people were calling from the planes on their cell phones and were telling us what happened, including when Beamer and the others, the let's roll, there's audio, you can hear Beamer say let's roll on his phone when they did it. You can hear the Muslim, we got some planes and all of that. And I just want to say, although this is open phones, Open MAGA Mike Friday, it is not open phones to the 9/11 conspiracy theorist all day, all right? We do have to have some quality control on the program. And I'm not going to participate in that fruitless, boring discussion that I believe disrespects the 3,000 Americans who were murdered on that day. We'll be back after our top of the hour break. If you're on hold, hang in there. Okay. Nope. We got a couple of minutes and we'll be back. We're still in our top of the hour radio break, all right? You know that frustration. You're doing everything right, working harder, spending more time on your marketing. You're hiring good people too, and still you're stuck. What if the real problem isn't what you think it is? Did you know that most high achievers are stuck because they're solving the wrong problem? You can get unstuck. You just need the right help and guidance. And that's what you will find on Beyond Blind Blaming, the podcast hosted by Kevin D. St. Clergy. Kevin learned early that when you can't see the real issue, even your best efforts, they'll fail. Now he helps entrepreneurs, leaders, and high achievers uncover the hidden blind spots that are holding them back. Each episode of Beyond Blind Blaming breaks down real business and leadership challenges, profit issues, team problems, scaling struggles, and reveals what's actually getting in the way. On Beyond Blind Blaming, there's no hype, no blame, just actionable clarity. If you're ready to stop solving the wrong problems and start leading with purpose, add Beyond Blind Blaming with host Kevin D. St. Clergy to your podcast playlist right now on Spotify and Apple Podcast, and stop feeling stuck. Ever wanted to grab a text from a screenshot and send it without having to log into a site or app that's plastered with ads? FreeTextFromImage.com keeps it simple. No sign-in, no faff. Drop a pic, copy the words. Try FreeTextFromImage.com. All right, we got about 30 seconds. If you're on hold, stand by. If you want to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat. Oh, it's one of those days, guys. All right. The 7 o'clock hour has begun. My name's Brian. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. All right, so Eric Swalwell of Fang Fang fame, he's running for governor, and he went, if you're on hold, hang in there, we'll go to the phones in a minute. He went on MS, well, it's called MS Now, not MS NBC.
What would you bring to the table as a governor of California? Well, you have immense powers as governor of California, and your responsibility is to protect the most vulnerable in the state. So if the president is going to send ICE agents to chase immigrants to the fields where they work, what I'm going to do is make sure that they take off their masks and show their faces, that they show their identification, and if they commit crimes, that they're going to be charged with crimes. If it's falsely imprisoning people, if it's kidnapping, if assault, battery, they're going to be held accountable. I also think if the governor has the ability to issue driver's licenses to people in California, if you're going to wear a mask and not identify yourself, you're not going to be eligible to drive a vehicle in California. There's a lot you can do, but most importantly, you have to go on offense. Otherwise, the most vulnerable in our community will always be on defense.
Okay. Now, if you guys remember Swalwell, who likes to hang out with Hunter Biden, he got wrapped up. He was having an affair with a Chinese spy, Fang Fang. And I mean, I can't believe this guy's still in Congress. He wants to be governor. He wants to be governor. He should have been run out of Congress when that happened. How could you not be having an affair with a Chinese spy? You get busted, and you're still in Congress, and you have security clearances. Now he wants to be governor. You know, when he was having sex with this Chinese spy, even if it's stopped, they have him not just on audio; they have video of him doing God knows what. Once you're an asset like that, you're always an asset. This guy's a major security risk. If Eric Swalwell were to become the governor of California, we'd have a CCP governor of California. California is around 20% of the economy, very important state. On top of all the disruption he's talking about causing in our country with taking away driver's licenses from federal agents who are enforcing federal law, which supersedes state and local laws. This is insane. And all this talk with Swalwell, no mention that he was in a sexual affair with a Chinese spy. And there's a lot of Chinese spies in California because they have a large Asian population in California. So it's easy for the CCP spies to blend in as opposed to in other states. Although Feinstein had a spy, there was another CCP spy that worked for, wasn't it Governor Hochul in New York? Come on. That should be the issue with this guy that should disqualify him immediately from being governor of anything. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, this is Joe from Baltimore.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, you're kind of generally talking about distrust in the government. You were saying crazy, mentally ill people question narratives. I did not want to talk about 9/11. That happened a while ago, but I did want to ask you about something in a similar vein. People questioning the government, but something that happened last year, a little closer to 2026. I'm not sure if you remember, because they're gone now, but when Trump came into power, we had the Doge trying to find all these wasteful expenditures, trying to find possible budget cuts. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, I know you're trying to walk me down the garden path. I'll play along.
Well, there was a time when Elon Musk's Doge said that they found. Do you remember this? Biden's administration had supposedly sent upwards of either 50 million condoms or $50 million in condoms over to Gaza. Mm-hmm. Now, if you'll remember, President Trump did a speech after that. President Trump said that Biden had sent all these condoms to Gaza and that Hamas was turning them into helium-filled bombs and sending them over the border and was killing Israelis. And Trump said that Biden killed a bunch of Jewish people by sending all these condoms to Gaza. And people said, condom bombs? I'm not sure if I believe that. And they were called anti-Semitic because the intelligence came from Mossad. Anyway, a week later, Brian, it was revealed that these condoms were actually sent to a different Gaza. There's a Gaza in Africa, in Mozambique. And so because the condoms never went to the Middle East, we know that Hamas never got the condoms. They never turned the condom. The condoms.
Okay, enough.
Bombs.
Okay, slow down.
My question
All right,
for you,
get to it.
My question for you, Brian, is one: were people who doubted that story in the week between Trump said it was Hamas and when it was exposed that it wasn't, were those people truly anti-Semitic for not trusting the IDF? And also, what do you think about that blatant lie by Trump about that? I mean, your thoughts?
Well, first off, while I remember the story about the condoms, I don't remember all this other stuff you were talking about, so I can't comment on what I don't know. And I don't know why you said condoms in your long-winded question more times than I've heard any man use the word condom in my life. And I don't know why you're so concerned with condoms. I doubt you have any use for one. I don't know. That's saying a lot because, I mean, we had Dinkins in New York. All right, appreciate the call. All right, so we've started off the new year. I mean, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a lot of, I started the show today at 20 after 5 a.m., right? Because I do I do a pre-show that's just online on YouTube before the radio show starts. That's 30 to 45 minutes before the show, sometimes an hour before the show. I've been taking calls for almost 2 hours. We've gotten a lot of calls. We've heard from a lot of liberals today. Every single Democrat that is called in today has been totally unglued. Have you noticed that? There has not been a single normal, sane Democrat that's called this program today. And, there's a number of reasons for that. And I'll tell you what those are. But first, I want to talk about Coastal Weight Loss Secret. In about, I guess, a little more than a week, it will have been a year since I first met Dr. Zuckerman over at Coastal Weight Loss Secret. And, when I went over there, I didn't realize how much weight I had gained. I really didn't. And I went over there. It was Inauguration Day, and I went, right after I got off the air, I went to see Dr. Zuckerman at Coastal Weight Loss Secret. And then I went from there to Wings Plus. And boy, oh boy, it was standing room only at Wings Plus on Inauguration Day. And I took pictures with a lot of you. And you all started posting your photographs on social media. And I was embarrassed. I did not realize, my face was completely round. I had gained so much weight, and I didn't realize it. And, of course, I lost all that weight. And I am at the weight that I was when my wife and I married 29 years ago. And I did it without any drugs, injections, exercises. Didn't have to exercise, eating foods I would normally eat. I didn't starve myself. And, of course, I've kept the weight off without gaining back a single ounce, even during all these holiday periods where I'm eating pumpkin pie and other delicious things over Christmas and Thanksgiving. Call Coastal Weight Loss Secret and schedule your no-charge consultation. They can help you no matter where you are located. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlosssecret.com. We'll be right back. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Sandra. I'm calling from Delray Beach. The Barry Siegel Law Group did such wonderful work for me, and I was very particular. I'm a professional myself, and I went to about 3 or 4 attorneys prior. They wanted to do what they wanted to do. They didn't want to add anything extra, but Barry tailored it to my needs. And it's not only the trust. There's so many other end-of-life documents, the living will, the will, and I tailored each one one of them to my liking, and they were wonderful and always, always polite. Never showed any aggravation, or because I contacted them many times. Always polite. And not only that, when you finish your documents and you leave this world, your beneficiaries could go there and they'll explain everything to them, which is a big deal because a lot of these beneficiaries or heirs, they're not cognizant of what to do. I just wanted to let you know that the Siegel Group is above and beyond any other attorney that I have ever contacted. Plus, they give you a big portfolio at the end with a leather-bound documents. It's beautiful.
Give the Siegel Law Group a call, 855-FLA-3782, 855-FLA-3782, and online, siegellawgroup.com. On the line, we have Lewis. He had some issues with some taxes in past years, and he called Jamie Levac over at Swift Tax, and Jamie took good care of him. Lewis, welcome to the program.
Oh, thank you. How you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great. So tell me how Jamie from Swift Tax helped you on your taxes.
Well, I was having trouble with another company. I called Jamie, and bingo, and the next day I had a meeting with him. And the next day, I brought my wife in there with all the paperwork, and he's straightened all my back taxes out, and I'm actually getting money back now.
Wow, this is pretty amazing. So this other company you went to told you owed the government money, and Jamie over at Swift Tax took a look and found out that not only did you not owe money, you're getting money back from the government?
Yes, I got nice big checks coming soon.
Wow, that's amazing. Do what Lewis did. Call Jamie Levac over at Swift Tax, 954-773-1587, 954-773-1587. Peptide research is exploding, and GLP-1 is leading the charge. Across the country, researchers are exploring metabolic, regenerative, and cellular repair models like never before. At MyPurePeptide.com, based in Dallas, Texas, they supply high-purity, lab-verified peptides for controlled research environments. Whether your work involves GLP-1 metabolic studies tied to weight and energy balance, cellular health and modulation models, or tissue repair pathways, MyPurePeptide.com is committed to supporting your research with clarity and consistency. Visit MyPurePeptide.com and use code DALLAS to save 25% on your order for research use only. MyPurePeptide.com. Okay, we'll be back in about 90 seconds, guys. I'm just queuing a couple things up. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. If you're on hold, stand by. Our number is toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. I saw an article in the Daily Mail yesterday that I wanted to talk about, and even though it was in the Daily Mail, this has become a national and global story. And I was very surprised to see this become a national story and a global story yesterday, because it was not a slow news day, even on New Year's Day. But it on the face of it, it seems to be a Florida story. Did any of you guys see the story about Publix prices? And I'm just going to share this with you for a couple of reasons, but let me go through this story. And I have been shopping at Publix, not as much as I used to, but I've been shopping at Publix since I was a kid in Florida, right? And I used to work at Publix when I was young. Even when I first started in radio, when I was board hopping, I was still working at Publix when I first got my first jobs at radio stations, so they didn't pay any money. Right? They called them internships, which was, but it was fine. I worked for free. It worked out well. But I was working at Publix. And over the years, my wife and I, we shop at Publix less and less. But there was this article in the Daily Mail about Publix. And listen to this. Here's the headline. Florida's favorite grocery store slammed for criminal prices as customers protest ridiculous cost of meat. And I've always heard people talk about how Publix is the most expensive. No doubt about it when it comes to grocery stores. And I went to Publix not long ago to pick up some things. Oh, let me grab a steak. And I went to the meat department. I couldn't believe the prices of the meat. I'm like, forget about it. But let me go through this article a little bit. This is in the Daily Mail money section. And again, this is a global story. I was very surprised about this. Publix has long been considered Florida's favorite supermarket, but it seems customers are turning their backs on the global giant. The Florida-born chain is beloved for its southern charm, famous subs, wide selection, and frequent buy one, get one free deals. For decades, Publix built a reputation on quality, friendly service, and fair prices. But customers increasingly claim those standards are slipping, especially at the checkout. One frustrated shopper recently took to Reddit to air their grievances after picking up a prime tenderloin steak at a Publix store in Florida. Yulee, Florida. I don't know where Yulee, Florida is. A photo of the package, which they have in the article, and this just blew my mind. A photo of the package showed the meat price at a jaw-dropping $61.49, or $49.99 per pound. This is criminal, the customer wrote. They continued, not only is the meat mediocre, it's ridiculously priced. What the hell, Publix? This is the store in Yulee, Florida. Only tenderloin on the shelf at all. You can get a full ribeye or tenderloin dinner with table bread, 2 sides, and soft drinks in Florida at Outback, or at a Texas Roadhouse, or a Longhorn Steakhouse for $26 to $31. Publix is wildly overpriced, someone else chimed in. Another said the meat isn't the only Publix product growing in price. Listen to this. If you think that's bad, this is what they wrote in the Reddit post. A jar of Planters mixed nuts is going for almost $20. Mayo is pushing $10 a jar. Instead, Publix might be losing its customers to other major grocers in the state. And then they talk about Kroger's, which is no longer in Florida. Trader Joe's recently took aim at Publix by announcing plans to open new Florida-based stores. They are all over the place. We got Trader Joe's and all that stuff all over the place. Publix still dominates the state, operating over 900 stores. Meanwhile, it goes into Costco and everything else. I get this is a Florida story, and I know it's not the normal politics I would talk about, but it is, and I'll explain it to you in a moment. I have always shopped at Publix. I love the Publix subs. Everybody loves the Publix subs. Subways in Florida hit hard by the popularity of the Publix subs. But everyone's always known that Publix was a little more expensive. But in the last year or so, I've been hearing from people that are lifelong Publix customers, like I am, that it's just too expensive and they're going elsewhere. In the old days, we didn't have a lot of choice. Well, there used to be a lot more Winn-Dixies, but right now there's all these, there are Trader Joe's, there's all kinds of specialty markets around, Walmart, Target, and my wife and I do the Instacart for all of our grocery shopping pretty much, unless we really need something, because my wife can't get out of the house and do the shopping. And I'm not really that good at it. But Publix, we're less and less we're getting from Publix. And if you do the price comparisons on everything at Publix compared to Target and Walmart, on basic things like, you know, Coke, and the prices are significantly higher at Publix. And I don't know what they're thinking, but they're overpricing themselves and alienating loyal customers like me. And my wife and I, we don't cook a lot, so we don't buy a lot, you know, but we're buying hardly anything from Publix these days. So the reason, this tenderloin price, I look in the meat department, it's sky high. But the reason I'm sharing this story with you today, and I'm interested to know what your thoughts are on the Publix prices. You know, Publix is outside of Florida, but it's primarily in Florida. I think, and I saw this number a couple years ago. I may be off a little bit, but I think 80% of Floridians live within 2 miles of a Publix or something. Isn't that something they say? There's so many of them. And they're still opening up new stores. I see them open up new stores. There seems to be a lot of arrogance on their part, and I don't think they realize the competition is, especially in the Instacart era, how much competition they are. But here's the thing, okay? And the reason I bring this up, when people complain about food prices, and sometimes I get calls from our listeners here in Florida who complain about food prices, they're shopping at Publix. You know, my mother never in my life has complained about food prices, and she complains to me all the time, and she shops at Publix. I'm like, Mom, you got to go to somewhere else. Stop shopping at Publix. It's crazy. They're price guy. You know, a lot of stores are doing what Publix has done. Their prices went up during the Biden era, and they're refusing to lower them. Okay? And when people are complaining about food prices here in Florida, well, what has Trump done about the food prices in Florida? You've heard me say this with callers. When callers call in and they complain to me about food prices, I'll ask them, you're in Florida, right? And they'll, yeah, well, you shop at Publix? Yeah, I shop at Publix. That's why. What can President Trump do to get Publix to lower their prices? Well, he might be able to call them. I don't know. There's a Publix right down the street from Mar-a-Lago. You know, a lot of people, when they walk over to Mar-a-Lago, they park at Publix down the street, you know, at it. But there's not, you know, the price on food that people are seeing not going down is in large part because a lot of stores are like Publix. They're refusing to lower their prices. That's why you got to go elsewhere. Go to Target, go to Walmart. I mean, that's what we have in Florida. I'm not a big Aldi fan, and a lot of people, you know, are obsessed with Aldi. Aldi's not my place, but these public prices, it's I wouldn't say it's price gouging because you don't have to go to Publix. There's other alternatives. But people have, Publix is such a habit for people in Florida that they don't even go explore the other stores. And as loyal as a customer of Publix I've been, I've pretty much left going to Publix. The only time I go to Publix is if I need one or two small things and I got to run out and get them. I'll go to Publix because I got a couple Publixes just like, you know, 2 miles from my front door, you know, so I'll go. But if we're really doing shopping, it's not Publix anymore. And I know I'm not alone because I hear people do it. But these kind of things are not Trump's fault because if you go to Walmart and the other stores, their prices are reasonable and much lower. And I'm curious because this story not only went national, it was a global story about Publix. I wonder if there's any panic up in Lakeland where the corporate headquarters are. Are they freaking out at Publix over this? All right, we'll take our break for the bottom of the hour. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll-free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be back right after this. the heck? Okay. If you're on hold, stand by. Oh, man. All right, we'll be back shortly.
As
Holy smokes. All right. If you're on hold, hang in there, guys. Sorry, I was just taking care of some stuff over here. We've got about what time are we coming back? We've got about a minute, and we'll be back, and I'll go to the phones. I know those prices are insane, aren't they? I still like Publix better. I mean, you know, and the Publix subs, oh my goodness. When my daughter lived in California, one of the first things she would do when she would visit Florida would go to Publix for the subs. They're famous for their subs. Yep, if you're on hold, stand by. We'll go back to the phones when we get back. The number is pinned in the live chat. It's toll-free no matter where you are listening. And I'll be back this afternoon with a podcast. And also, you can catch me over the weekend, so don't miss the program. Got a lot going on this weekend. Got about 30 seconds and we'll be back. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Toll-free call. Hopefully we'll get a sane liberal today. The liberals have just been out of their freaking minds today, haven't they? Stand by. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Open phones on this Friday. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, hello, Brian. This is Julian. We spoke about paddle boards, remember?
Mm-hmm.
But I would like to say, you mentioned about a seismic event that brought down the Surfside.
Yes.
Now, I don't know if that's true or not, because I worked in doing farm construction, right? Farm work, concrete. And we did the Embassy Suites at the Causeway there in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
On the east side.
Yep.
I started from the bottom. And what they do these days, they drill. You drill really deep. And then they put a metal sleeve down there. And then the rebar cage goes in. And they pour concrete. They don't do it like you said. The only thing where they do the pylons is when you do a bridge. And then they
I went down
there.
right after the collapse. Okay, I made a YouTube video of it, and I saw the construction and I saw pylons. Now I don't know how they were putting them in, but I don't think that was a coincidence. I just don't. But we're never going to know, because with that Surfside collapse has turned into is such a major ripoff to condo owners in this state. I mean, there's so much corruption going on in the state of Florida in the aftermath of that. We're never going to get the true story.
I know.
But I do remember. After the collapse, there were people talking that had been in the building that talked about vibrations during the construction. I remember hearing people talking about that. That's when I first started thinking about it.
I don't know what they were building. I don't know, because like I said,
major high rise.
On doing a bridge in intercoastal or doing a pier. But I don't know how they could be doing pylons, because I've worked in construction a long
well,
time.
I might be using the wrong word. I'm not a construction expert, but I heard people that were there talking about feeling vibrations in the building during the construction. I mean, that's when I first started thinking about it. I may be using the wrong word in terms.
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't see that. I mean, like when I lived in the Bronx, in the projects on Randall Avenue of Castle Hill, they were banging those things in. That was a long time ago. But they don't do that anymore. Like I say, only like doing a bridge or...
well, like I said, I saw people... there were people that either... it's been so long. I don't remember if they were survivors who lived in the building and weren't there, or if they were visiting relatives. But there were people that I saw interviewed on the news and the aftermath of that talked about feeling vibrations in the building during the construction. I remember hearing that.
Well, you know what? I'm going to look on Google Earth and I want to see what you're talking about. What's right next to that building? I'd like to see that.
Okay.
Anyway, I want to ask you one more question. You say are you going to be on Newsmax? You said you were going to say
over the weekend. Yes,
TV.
Yeah, I'll be on Wendy Bell over the weekend on Newsmax.
What day? What time?
It's on Wendy Bell airs. I'll be on it's on 4 times over the weekend. It's on Saturday and Sundays in the afternoons and in the evenings. I don't know the exact times offhand, and it depends on your time zone. But just look up the Newsmax schedule, Wendy Bell. Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you. Sorry to bother you.
All right, take care. You're not bothering me. And you'll get to see me in a suit and tie and clean shaven. All right, so check it out. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Morning, Brian. It's JJ from Mass.
Hey, JJ, what's up?
You know, I was looking at your, I have the, I can see when you were doing your story on the meat, and something just kind of, jumped out at me. And I don't know if that exact picture you showed.
Well, that was that was showing the article from the Daily Mail.
Okay. Well, I could see it. I've got a pretty big TV. It looked like it said 1.23 pounds. In 1999, a pound, 60 plus. That doesn't equate the math.
I'll pull it up. Well, it's in the Daily Mail. I'll pull it up.
Somebody's not checking math. I mean, that's what I saw.
I'll take a look.
It just seems, that steak at that price should be about $25.
Well, even regardless of the price, the prices. The point I'm making isn't about this. Tenderloin. I don't really worry about the prices of tenderloin. I mean, that's a luxury item. I mean, I went into, my daughter took me to over the weekend to an Asian grocery store in Fort Lauderdale.
Sure.
And they were selling fish, live fish, and it was like $80 for one fish. I mean, it wasn't even that much. I'm like, what? And I got to cook it myself? Are you kidding me? You know what I mean? So here's the thing. There are some things that are luxury items.
I agree with you on the Publix. I agree with you on the Publix and the pricing and stuff. I just think that $60. I think that may have been somebody.
I don't know. It was in the Daily Mail, but overall, because my wife and I, we'll do the price comparison on things that we buy, like Coke or Gatorade and things like that we buy, and we'll do the price comparison between Publix, Walmart, and Target. And Publix is always a lot more on all of the regular things we buy by a lot. And the point of the story, I'm not going to sit around and gripe about the price of tenderloin and lobster and filet mignon because, those are, or caviar. But there's no doubt that Publix has highly inflated prices compared to other stores around. And when people are looking at food prices are dropping, but that doesn't mean that they've dropped in your grocery store.
Correct. Yeah, and they don't necessarily drop as fast because they're going to hang on to those high prices as long as they can to make more of a margin until they're forced to bring them down. But I just don't. To me, the Daily Mail. I mean, when people use hype like that, to like the idiot that was doing the condom story. I mean,
oh my
give
goodness.
me a break. The friggin', they used balloons. I mean, there's pictures, there's videos. They use balloon bombs. Okay, it's not like they're sophisticated over there in Gaza. Mm-hmm. They used everything they could. How they flew in on ultralights, that type of stuff. And the guy's talking about 9/11. I mean, they found in the debris of the Pentagon, you can't, they didn't like trek in the middle of the night. There's eyes all over the place.
Yeah, that's true. Well, listen, I'm gonna move on, but you're right on the money. I got to move on, but I appreciate the call. All right, take care. Now, if you're on hold, hang in there. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name's Norm, and I'm calling from upstate New York.
Hey, Norm in New York.
How you doing?
Hi.
I've talked to you quite a few times now, and I'm curious about what your thoughts on Zohran Mamdani swearing in on the Quran.
I think it's terrible. It's hard for me to believe it even happened.
I don't even see how it's legally possible.
I don't know, like, when it comes in these countries, in different states, they have different laws, and I know in courtrooms you don't even have to swear in on a Bible, that it's more ceremonial, at least in a lot of cities, a lot of states, and things I've heard over the years. I don't know if you were to swear in for the presidency, if that would apply. But at a state level, it's up to the state to decide. And I don't know if the Bible is required to swear in for anyone, or if it's more of tradition than anything else. I don't know, but that's the least of the problem. I mean, the problem is, here we are 24 years after 9/11. We've got a Muslim mayor overseeing Ground Zero, takes the oath of office on the Holy Quran, and he appoints as his chief legal counsel a Muslim attorney who's represented Al-Qaeda terrorists, and Al-Qaeda brought down the World Trade Center. I mean, so what the heck?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in upstate New York, and the big problem I have is that upstate New York is affected by downstate New York policies, which are, you couldn't be any more different from upstate New York to downstate New York as far as,
listen, here in Florida, that's as Republican as it gets. We have big blue areas, Jacksonville, Florida, which is like the biggest city in the country. The Orlando area where the Disney parks are very blue and liberal. There's always blue and red, and even in red states, right? But here's the thing. New York is not, it's bad enough. We got Minneapolis with this weirdo mayor dancing with the Somali flag and speaking Somali and all this stuff. But New York City is not Minneapolis. It's the most important city in the world. It's where,
oh, absolutely,
for many, many reasons. And I don't mean just because the financial center and the media, it's just important. And if New York falls, which many believe it has, so goes the rest of the country.
Yeah, I mean, when I went to London, England, in about 1998 or something, I was so shocked at how small it was in comparison to New York City.
Yeah,
it just wasn't very impressive to me after spending most of my life and living on Long Island and spending a lot of time in the city.
Yeah, no, and by the way, I just wanted to JJ's question in the background. It is that Publix price is listed at $49.99 a pound on the label. I just blew up the picture. I don't think people understand. Liberal. You can never underestimate the stupidity of liberals. But see, I believe Zohran won only because the turnout was low. They had 16% turnout on Election Day. And as much as we criticize the fake news media and talk about how ineffective they were very effective in convincing so many people that Mamdani was unbeatable, and it resulted in a low voter turnout. Plus Curtis Sliwa, who I've always respected and admired my whole life, but he disgusts me now out of his narcissism. He helped. But this is really bad, and I find that it dishonors everyone who died on that day. I really do. I'm sorry. And people may say, well, that was a long time ago. Not long enough.
Not to someone like me, I feel like it was almost yesterday. I mean, that was a big wake-up call to when we experienced it. It was just like nothing else that I had ever experienced in my lifetime.
And hopefully never
I'm
again.
49 years old, so.
It was scary. I mean, it was, when 9/11 happened, we didn't know that was it, right? I mean, people don't know. It was really scary in the days and weeks after. And Mamdani, he was asked many times to condemn the global intifada, which he refused to do. And 9/11 is a part of the global intifada. I did not hear one person ever ask him to condemn 9/11. Not one. You know, and that disgusts me. I mean, that is just it's just not right. I'm sorry. You know, now listen, I'm not saying that all Muslims are terrorists or anything like that, and that's how people will take what I'm saying. But when you don't condemn the global intifada, of which 9/11 was a part of, and you appoint a lawyer to be your chief counsel as mayor who's represented Al-Qaeda terrorist, that's really rubbing salt in the wound. That means he doesn't give a you-know-what about New York or those who lived through 9/11 up there. You know.
Well, he's obviously complicit on some level.
Well,
so
you know, his viewpoint is not his worldview is not an American worldview. I give you an example. You know, I'm a big student of history, and the British make some of the best history documentaries ever. And there's a female historian, I can't think of her first name. Her last name is like Woosley or something. And she's a great historian. And she covers a lot about the medieval period and Henry VIII and things. I watched her do a documentary on the American Revolution, and I don't know what the hell she was talking about, right? But she had a British perspective. You know what I mean? And she did this hour-long documentary on the American Revolution. It had nothing to, I don't know what revolution she was talking about, but it wasn't the American Revolution. But because her perspective was different, her worldview was different. You know, the worldview of Mamdani is not the worldview of you or me or an American. He's an American citizen, but he doesn't have the mindset or the perspective of an American. And if you're going to become, New York City is a city that was built by immigrants, no doubt about it, who Americanized, who became Americans. And, you know, to have a Muslim mayor who hasn't condemned the global intifada this soon after 9/11 or any time after 9/11 it's wrong. I'm sorry, you know, that's it.
I really hope the whole world. I hope the whole world is paying attention to what's going to happen next, because we don't really want this to happen again.
It's you know, this country is being colonized. They're not blowing up buildings anymore. They're just moving and then running for local office, and then next thing you know, you got Ilhan Omar in Congress. Get it? You know what I mean? They're just migrating and immigrating. It's, you know, it's very effective.
That's exactly it.
Mm-hmm. We're being colonized. And the only hope we have is that Mamdani will fail with his socialist ideology and he'll be rejected by his people. But in his speech yesterday, when he said Palestinians, the crowd went nuts.
Well, the thing that everybody talks about minorities in this country, but white people in the world are a minority. I think that white people are only about 15% of the world's population. So it's like, yeah, like we might be the majority here in this country, but not worldwide.
Well,
and that can easily change.
You know, listen, but back in the 90s, you know, there was a lot of talk that by the year 2000, whatever, whites were going to be the minority in the country. And all the projections showed that the majority was going to be Hispanic, you know, because the border invasion's always been going on.
I do remember that.
Yeah, that was a lot of talk.
Yeah, I do remember that.
And we used to talk about, Steve and I would talk about that on the show a lot. And I don't care what the skin color is or ethnicity of the people in the country. But what I do care is whether or not they're American. And when I say American, I don't mean some paper that says you're an American citizen. I mean that you in your heart and mind are an American. And Mamdani is not. Ilhan Omar is not. I mean, look at these Somalis. These Somalis in Minneapolis, they call... I saw a Somali police officer in Minneapolis the other day online referring to white police officers on his police force that he works alongside with as foreigners. He's calling lifelong Minnesota residents foreigners because they're white. They're not assimilating like our ancestors did when they came to America. That's all. Listen, I'm very late for the break. I got to go, but I feel your pain, to quote Bill Clinton. Take care. If you're on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian, back after this. Yeah, that's it. If you're on hold, stand by.
Ever wanted to grab a text from a screenshot and send it without having to log into a site or app that's plastered with ads? Free text from image.com keeps it simple. No sign-in, no faff. Drop a pic, copy the words. Try free text from image.com.
This is George Colony. I'm in the real estate business in Fort Lauderdale, Florida with Kai's Real Estate. I've been in business for 6 decades. People often ask me, what's the right time to buy or sell real estate? To tell you the truth, it's always the right time. You just need to have the right advice from the right advisor. You could call me anytime because I answer my phone on the first ring. My number is 954-801-7320. That's my personal cell phone number. And I answer it on the first ring every time. Please give me a call. I'm happy to answer any question that you have. My cell phone number is 954-801-7320.
Hi, it's Dr. Philip Appleton. You've been hearing my commercials about bye-bye pain, my laser weight treatment, but today's commercial and today's spot is going to be on Tom Laporta, Laporta Roofing. What an experience I've had with him and his company. They've done a few of my friends' houses and my son and my house, and there's never a downtime. They're old school, which means you call them up, they'll be there. How many times have you called somebody up and they never show up, or they give you an excuse, weather, traffic, whatever? Tom Laporta, what a class act. The workmanship, the magnificent teamwork they have. I recommend them 100%.
Thanks, Dr. Appleton. Now do what Dr. Appleton did. Pick up your phone and call Tom Laporta from Laporta Roofing on your cell phone. 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, LaportaRoofing.com. Do mealtimes feel more stressful than satisfying in your home? You're not alone. Between busy schedules, picky eaters, and rising grocery costs, eating healthy can't feel impossible. That's why Dennis Heikkinen wrote the family-friendly Healthy Eating Cookbook, available on Amazon. This practical, easy-to-use cookbook is packed with over 100 simple, nutritious, kid-approved recipes designed for real families and real life. Every meal is easy to prepare, budget-friendly, and made to help your whole family enjoy breakfast, lunch, dinner, and even snacks without spending hours in the kitchen. Whether you're a busy parent, a beginner cook, or just trying to build healthier habits at home, the family-friendly Healthy Eating Cookbook gives you the confidence to cook with ease and bring joy back to your life. Order your copy right now on Amazon and Kindle, paperback, and free with Kindle Unlimited. The family-friendly Healthy Eating Cookbook on Amazon.
30 seconds. We'll be back. If you're on hold, stand by. Oh, man. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Give me a no if you were either not alive or too young to remember 9/11, and a yes if you do remember 9/11. Curious. I think most of you remember it. All right, we're back. It's Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
PJ from Broward.
Hey, PJ. What's on your mind?
Hey, you're talking about Zohran Mamdani. I don't know. I did a Newsbuster story about the New York Magazine, and they're really sweating because they have a super long article, and the guy that wrote it, he's very supportive of Mamdani, but he's really worried because he discovered that Mamdani actually has zero to almost no administrative experience.
That's right.
And they asked him some simple questions, and he didn't know he didn't know how to tackle them. It's unbelievable. It's really weird, but they're really sweating it that this guy's going to flop.
Mm-hmm. Well, what we've learned from Dan Bongino and Kash Patel, that you can spend years talking about what should be done and what you would do if you're in the spot, but once you get the job, well, those guys, they choked, as President Trump would say.
Talk is easy. Talk is very easy, but when we're actually doing it, like President Trump does, it's a whole different story.
Well, the question is, PJ, though, if he fails, which he's likely to do, like how's he going to give free buses? That's not even within his realm of authority. That comes from the state. So will these Democrats care, or are they just so excited that he's a Muslim and they'll let him fail and vote for him again?
They'll just blame Trump. That's the usual fallback.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, also you were also talking about, Broward. Yeah, Publix has had bad prices, high prices on meat. I mean, I do go there because they do have good, buy one, get one free. A lot of times it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, yeah, their meat is high. But so, like, I'll tell you, this is kind of a funny story. It's real quick. But I used to get super cheap meat because I was good friends with a meat manager at my local Winn-Dixie.
Mm-hmm.
This guy, it started out, I said to the guy, I said, hey, this bacon is expiring in a couple of days, you know, do you think me? So he says, oh, okay. So he knocked 3 pounds of bacon. He knocked it down to like about $4.
Oh, my goodness.
A thick cut. Yeah. So then I became good friends with this guy. So it got to the point, it was almost like an open joke. I would go, hey, this meat expires in 10 days, you know, so what do you think?
Oh,
He
my
would just
goodness.
take it and he'd knock 50, 75% off. But unfortunately, eventually, a few years later, the Winn-Dixie closed down.
Yeah, well, that happened. All right, PJ, take care. Good to talk to you. Happy New Year. All right, take care. All right, if you're on hold, hang in there. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, my name is Jacob from South Carolina. How you doing?
All right, Jacob.
So you made a comment earlier, and I just wanted a little clarity. So being an American is not about a piece of paper. It's about the passion in your heart, you said?
No, there's America, okay? We are a country that has a culture, a history, right? And a mindset. It's a way of life being an American. So being an American is more than just having an American passport. Yeah, you got to think like an American in your heart and mind to be an American. That doesn't mean we agree on everything.
So there's the one door opens with that comment and one door closes. So the first door that opens is it allows you or anyone, someone else, to determine the love, the passion, the lifestyle of someone to determine whether they're American or not.
Mamdani, I played earlier in the show Mamdani's speech at his inauguration yesterday, and he wants to look at some charter document from South Africa to base what we do in the United States on. You don't go to, there's no documents better than our documents, okay? You don't go to any country in the world other than the United States for documents on how to model this country. But if you're from Africa like he is, you think the African way is a great way, I guess.
I'm not even going to be mad at you about that because to me that sounds like an opinion. Because when I look back, when I look right now on paper, on the facts, not feelings, right? It shows me that Ireland, a lot of these countries, when it comes to Medicaid, when it comes to education, they're just advanced. They're
Ireland?
us. We need to stop.
Is Ireland where they give out the needles to the heroin addicts? What, let me ask. Okay, I've answered your questions. Let me ask you a question. What's the greatest country in the world?
America has the greatest army and finance.
Now, I didn't ask you that. What's the greatest country in the world? Name it.
I don't know.
You don't know. Well, that's the problem.
You got to remember. This country, America, is one of the youngest countries.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
It's only 200 years old.
There's a lot of countries younger than us.
I'm just saying, when you talk about the major companies...
I didn't ask you what the oldest or the youngest. Why can't you say that this is the greatest country in the world? What's the matter with you?
Because this is the same country that would embrace slavery.
No, we're the country that ended it. The Europeans brought slavery here. We ended it.
So you cut someone and then you...
No, a million Americans died freeing the slaves. Shame on you. This is our 250th anniversary this year. Jerk. We'll take our break for the top of the hour. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. Don't go anywhere. Back right after this. What the heck? Oh, we ended slavery. Yeah, let me pull this up where he says, if you're on hold, stand by. Let me pull this up. Let me get that document he was talking about.
In so doing, we will provide our own answer to that age-old question. Who does New York belong to?
Oh, my goodness.
Well, my friends, we can look to Madiba and the South African Freedom Charter.
The South African Freedom Charter? You're going to go to the South African Freedom Charter to decide what we do in this country? What is the South African... hold on a second, caller. What is the South African Freedom Charter? Let me look this up. I've never even heard of this thing. South African Freedom Charter. Okay, let me look this up. It was established in 1955, so that was around. They had apartheid going on. A foundational document outlining the principles for a democratic, non-racial South Africa. I'm gonna get into this when we get back. This is great. This is what he wants us to look at. This guy's out of his freaking mind. Okay, when are we going to be back? Okay, if you're on hold, stand by. We got 2 minutes and we'll be back. Oh my goodness. Insanity. Total insanity. I'll play this when we get back. I've never even heard of this Freedom Charter before. Okay. Let's see. We'll be back in about a minute. See, that guy's got... I'll explain this when we get back. Insane, these callers. Completely insane. If you're on hold, hang in there. Yeah, I am triggered when people are trashing our great country. 30 seconds. You're all welcome to call in. That's fine. All right, we're back. The 8 o'clock hour has begun. Callers on hold, stand by. I'm going to play this part of Mamdani's speech yesterday to illustrate what I'm saying. But that last caller that couldn't tell me that he couldn't say this was the greatest country in the world. Slavery. The United States didn't bring slavery here. We ended it. And a lot of Americans died, not just in the Civil War. There was a lot of struggles before to free the slaves, and it was done. The Europeans brought slavery here, okay? But I want you to listen to this. This is Mamdani in his speech yesterday. And this is what I'm talking about, how he's not an American in his heart and mind.
In so doing, we will provide our own answer to that age-old question. Who does New York belong to? Well, my friends, we can look to Madiba and the South African Freedom Charter.
Okay, I don't know Madiba, but the South African Freedom Charter, which I've never heard of before, I looked it up during the break. This is what New York is going to be governed by, according to Mamdani. The South African Freedom Charter. It was written in 1955, and by the way, to the best of my recollection, apartheid was started in the 40s, late 40s, okay? So this is during the apartheid period. The South African Freedom Charter, of which Mamdani wants to govern New York by, was a foundational, this is what I just Googled this, okay? I've never heard of it before. Was a foundational document outlining the principles for a democratic, non-racial South Africa adopted by the Congress Alliance at the Congress of People of Kliptown, demanding equal rights, housing, healthcare, education, and economic justice for all, famously stating, the people shall govern, okay, and it influenced their post-apartheid constitution. Apartheid was in place when this was written. It was apartheid began either in the late 40s or early 50s. I can't remember offhand. It's been a while, but this was written during apartheid. So what he's telling us is that this has been an apartheid state, that New York City, the most diverse city in this country, has been an apartheid city, and that this country is in apartheid, and he's fighting against that. And I'll tell you what, South Africa is a dump. It always has been. During apartheid, after apartheid, before, and it always will be. You don't want to model anything in this country based on any documents from any other country. It's disgusting what he just said there. And what an attack on every New Yorker who's ever lived for him to make that comment. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Yep, you're on the air.
Hello.
Oh, boy. Yeah, you're on the air.
What's up, old man? You're talking about New Yorkers and Mamdani and all of that. What's your problem with Mamdani?
Well, my problem is he just made it incredibly racist. I got a lot of problems with Mamdani. But what I'm talking about now is he made a statement during his speech yesterday that New York City, prior to him, of course, it has been run like apartheid in South Africa.
It still is. You gotta come and live here. Do you live in New York City?
God, no.
Have you ever lived in New York City?
God, no.
Okay, so you don't know about
give me
politics,
an example.
Right?
Give me yes, I do. Yes, I do. Give me an example since you're there.
What do you know?
Excuse me. I've got you. You're the expert. Give me an example of something in that the government of New York City has been doing prior to the paradise of Mamdani that is equal to that of apartheid in South Africa.
Well, a lot of it, like the rent situation.
No, that's not apartheid. Oh my goodness! Are you familiar? Excuse me.
You don't know about
Are you familiar with apartheid? No. Excuse me. Gentrification.
You don't know nothing about the neighborhoods and all the buildings.
Excuse me. I'm speaking. Nothing you said has to do. Are you familiar with? Do you know what apartheid was?
I know what it was.
What was
South Africa. Listen.
Then what was it?
You yourself, you're an old man. You know, you should try to calm down. First of all, because that could be bad for your health. First of all.
No, my heart's clear. I'm very healthy.
I know what you mean by that, and you're gonna take words.
Listen. You can divert. You don't know what you don't. Excuse me. You don't know what you're talking about. Apartheid was. In its racial hatred of blacks is second only. Excuse me.
Why do we have ghettos? Listen.
You know why we have ghettos? Because at 8:08 a.m. you're talking on the phone to me and not working. That's why you live in a ghetto.
Listen,
oh, you're at work? Does your boss know that you're on the phone while you're working?
You don't know. Okay, let me tell you something.
Does your boss know that you're on the phone?
You asked a good question about black people.
You're stealing from your boss right now.
You see, cutting me off. You're not letting me talk. Listen, you were talking about black people in New York, right? Like the ghettos and stuff.
No, I wasn't talking about black people in ghettos. Nope.
Like ghettos, like housing, like
nope, I didn't say any of that.
Public housing.
No, I didn't say any of that. I didn't say any of that. Nope.
Okay. Nope. I know what you're saying. Let me tell you about
I didn't say any of that.
What's going on? What's going on with black people here is it's engineered because the rich whites here, they let them live in those ghettos. They don't build parks for them.
Really?
They don't bring them.
They don't build parks. There's no parks.
They don't remodel their public schools. Their public schools are shitty.
Okay, there we go. All right. Is that the third or fourth time of the day of the first show of the new year? If you're on hold, stand by. You know, this is what they don't understand. I'm not going to sit here and explain to an idiot who doesn't understand what he's talking about. There's a different. Not everyone is rich enough to live on the ocean. I live in Florida. I live near the beach. I don't live on the beach. I'd like to live on the beach. I don't live on the beach. I got to drive to the beach. Okay, it doesn't take long to get to the beach, but I can't afford to live on the beach. Oh, my goodness. Not everybody can live on the ocean. All right. The number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. Oh, let me talk. Here we are in the new year. You want to call Jupiter Joe Thomas and talk to him about annuities. Let me tell you, I've talked to many of our listeners who have become clients of Jupiter Joe Thomas, and they love Jupiter Joe Thomas because now that they're in annuities, they have a guaranteed income stream that comes to them each and every month. Joe Thomas calls it mailbox money because you know that money's coming in. You're giving yourself a pension, and it's absolutely amazing. And the relief people have that they have that money coming in every month, by the way, for the rest of their life, supplementing whatever retirement they have saved up or their Social Security, is an amazing thing. Joe Thomas has over 30 years of experience in financial planning and retirement planning. He's a 5-time qualifying member of the $1 Million Roundtable, which is achieved by fewer than 1% of all financial advisors in the world. He's a top man in the industry, and he's offering you a free phone consultation or an office consultation. You can take advantage of the no-charge consultation no matter where you're located. If you're local, go meet with him at his office. If not, if you're in another state, another city, another town, do it over the phone or even through Zoom. And after you have your no-charge consultation with Joe Thomas, he'll put together a custom proposal just for you. These are not cookie cutter, unique to you and your situation to achieve your goals. Give him a call, 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And if you missed the number, go to his website, jupiterjoe.com. That's jupiterjoe.com. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian, I'm Frank from Maga Martin County. Am I on the air right now?
You're on the air. How you doing, Frank?
I'm doing pretty well. I have one little tidbit to throw at you, and it's not you. We're not talking about the fact that these people, the people in charge, are trying to create an Islamic world. We're not talking about that at all. We were founded under Judeo-Christian principles. We're not talking about that at all. We were founded under Jesus and his father. Charlie Kirk was talking about this, and Trump is echoing this, which is good. But these Islamic people are under the focus of a sick religion. And this is what these people really want, and it's got to be talked about.
Well, no, I was talking about it to a caller before the top of the hour. A guy called me from upstate New York, and what I told him, hold on, I'll tell you what I told him. And what I told him was this, and you know, it was about Mamdani's refusal to condemn the global intifada, which 9/11 was a part of. I never heard anyone ask him to condemn 9/11 or even his thoughts on 9/11. And I told him, and he's got this Al-Qaeda defense attorney as his chief counsel to the mayor now. Yeah. And what I told the caller is they're not, hijacking planes and knocking down buildings anymore. They're colonizing us. They're moving into cities and states and running for local office and even Congress in some instances. So we're being colonized and conquered in a very sophisticated way that's very effective. And I'll continue to call it out. Which is what I've been doing all morning.
But the focus, the end game of these people, the Mamdanis and his ilk of the world, is to create a complete Islamic world. That's correct. The end game.
That's correct. And this is all brought to you by Barack Obama. He put this in motion.
I echo your thoughts completely. But we have to start echoing the tenets, the beliefs of the Islamic people.
No, we're not going. If you sit, you'll lose. If you sit around and do that, and you just attack the Islamic religion, you're going to lose on that one. You're not going to reach Americans on that. There's too many liberal Americans that hate Christianity, and that's just not going to be an effective way. Listen, I got to run for the break, but I do feel you. I do agree with what you're saying, but just your way of going about it would be counterproductive. It's much.
Well, we have to start talking about people are not aware of what the Islamic religion really.
Well, listen, I know. Listen, I got. They know. Listen, I got to run, but I appreciate your call. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. Back after this. If you're on hold, hang in there. Hey, Barry, it's Brian.
Hey, Brian. Good morning.
Hey
Happy
there.
New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year. We got about 40 seconds, and I'll go right to you. So I'm going to keep you on
All
here.
right.
I'm not going to put you on hold.
All right.
All right, and it's time to check in with, for the first time of 2026, Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Happy New Year, Barry Siegel.
Yes, Happy New Year to you and to everyone listening as well. Hope everyone had a nice celebration and everything's going well so far this
Absolutely.
early in this new year.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what do you have for us on this first check-in of 2026?
Well, of course, we're going to talk about New Year's resolutions. Really think about it. What do you have for your family? Have you set up an estate plan? Or if you have set one up, do you know what you have? Do you know if your estate plan is set up properly? Do you know if you have your assets properly funded into your trust, if you do have a revocable living trust? Do you know who your fiduciaries are? Who's your trustee? Who's your personal representative, your power of attorney, your healthcare decision makers? Who are they? Maybe they were good decisions at the time that you originally did it, but maybe things have changed. Maybe they're no longer around. Maybe someone else is a better choice. Who are your beneficiaries? How are they broken down? Are they set up where it's protected for them so they don't lose it if they get divorced or sued or have creditors? All of these things are questions that you really need to look at to make sure that you and your family are well protected. So given that it's only the second day of the year, make sure that this is on your list of resolutions, and really, so it doesn't end up going on throughout the year and then falling down the list. Take action now by either coming to one of our upcoming workshops or just calling our office and scheduling your free consultation to get this done. Get this checked off your list right away so you don't have to worry about it all year.
Yeah, and if you already have your documents that were done, even by another attorney or law firm, the Siegel Law Group will gladly review them for you, no charge. And the emphasis on revocable living trust means you can make changes as time goes on. And I imagine there's very few people, Attorney Barry Siegel, that they get a revocable living trust and things don't change. Some of the things you listed and many more over the years, right?
Well, of course, yeah. I mean, as long as we're still here, things are going to change.
That's right.
At one point or another, whether we're moving into the state of Florida, whether good things like having marriages or children, or not so good things where we lose loved ones or people that we've named in our documents, or the divorces.
Yeah.
All kinds of things that can happen that will affect your planning, and people often don't think about, oh my gosh, I need to adjust my estate planning because of those things.
That's right.
So this is a reminder that if any of those things may have changed, it's going to be a good idea to have your documents reviewed to make sure that your plan is going to work when you need it to work.
Absolutely. Give the Siegel Law Group a call and schedule your no-charge in-office consultation, 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782. And online, SiegelLawGroup.com. And Siegel is spelled S-I-E-G-E-L. SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, have a great weekend. We'll talk next week.
All right. Thank you, Brian.
All right. Take care. Take care. Yeah, I want to talk about that last caller, and I was up against the break, the gentleman who called from Martin County, who said we need to focus in on what the Islamic religion is about. No, that's not the way to do it. You'll lose. Look at what's going on in Minneapolis right now. Okay? The Somalis are Muslim. And you look at the attacks, even when I'm exposing what Mamdani said. He said yesterday, we've got to reject rugged individualism and embrace collectivism. Rugged individualism is what this country is all about. Collectivism is a code word for communism. Spread the wealth around. Everyone's got to have some skin in the game and all of that. And even if you challenge them on those things, they call you a racist. What are you, a racist, an Islamophobe, a bigot, a white supremacist? You hear this, I even hear black MAGA people criticizing the Somali fraud in Minneapolis being called white supremacist. It's crazy, right? So if we need to talk about what they're doing and what they're about, not so much the religion, you'll lose that argument. And so far as what's going on in Minnesota, things are really falling apart for them since Nick Shirley's reporting that dropped a week ago today. You know, the Leering Center, one of the guys from the Leering Center came out, and listen to this.
Yesterday morning, I was called by the owner because unfortunately someone came in to our daycare. We looked and saw what happened, and we saw that the suspect came in from the back, broke in from the back kitchen, and he also destroyed the wall to come in. As we walked around the daycare, we saw that our office doors was broken into as well. We saw that, unfortunately, there was important documentation, enrollment of the children, and also employee documentation that was gone.
Okay, so all the documents that show that they care for children are gone. There was a break-in. I saw the video of the break-in. It looked like all the walls and the doors were all broken in from the inside, not the outside. But this is the guy from the Leering Center, right, that's getting millions of dollars to care for children, and there's no children, and of course you don't need the records if the children are there, but they have no children. He comes out, he's wearing glasses that cost over $2,200 in the frames. What kind of guy works at a daycare and has glasses that cost $2,200? A thief. And President Trump at the, I know it's insane what's going on here. President Trump at the New Year's Eve party at Mar-a-Lago the other night, on Thursday night, he's not only are they going after them, but they're going to take the money back. Not just from Minnesota, but from the other states as well. And they're serious as a heart attack. And Caroline Leavitt was on Fox, I want to say Wednesday. It might have been Tuesday, but either Tuesday or Wednesday, I can't remember. And she talked about revoking the citizenship of some of these naturalized Somalis that are American citizens now over this financial scandal. And that's a very interesting thing because that's how they're going to get them to talk. The Democrats are the leaders of this Somali ring that's nationwide. They have a national network going on here, the Democrats, with this fraud operation. And it's not just childless child care centers. It's many other types of federal things. And they use the Somalis for a number of reasons. But one of the reasons they use the Somalis is because they're not assimilated. They view us as foreigners, even though they're in our country. And they're tribal. They're a tribal people. And you can't get them to talk. They're not going to talk against each other. However, if you're revoking their naturalized citizenship because of the crimes they committed, that will break some of them. If you're going to deport them and their families back to the third world, it's worse than third world. It's a prehistoric anarchy society, Somalia. You threaten to deport them and their families to Somalia for their crimes, then they'll start talking and cooperating. And when President Trump goes back to get this money, they're in some big trouble because you know what? That money has been dispersed all over the place and it's been spent. So there's going to be some major accounting done over the federal funds that they have stolen. And I don't have any confidence in Pam Bondi, and I don't think I'm alone in this. Pam Bondi, I hope the president fires her and immediately replaces her with Judge Jeanine. And, you know, I'm wondering if Judge Jeanine was President Trump's first pick, but he thought it'd be hard to get her confirmed as Attorney General. Going from Fox News and the Five to the Attorney General might have been a difficult Senate approval process. However, she's been confirmed for her current job in the Senate already. So she's already been confirmed by the Senate for this U.S. attorney's job. And and the way things work, especially with us in power, when someone is already confirmed and then they get a promotion that requires a confirmation, it goes a lot smoother, supposedly. It's supposed to. But I have less than zero confidence that Pam Bondi will pursue this. All the evidence is there, and if Judge Jeanine were brought in as the Attorney General, I have no doubt that we would see Tim Walz in handcuffs and many, many others. All right, we're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show. We are back on this January 2nd, our first live show of 2026. If you're on hold, hang in there. It is Open MAGA Mike Friday. It is Friday. It is open phones. You're welcome to call in about anything and everything you have on your mind. The number is 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll take our bottom of the hour break and be right back.
This is Brian Craig. I've been telling you about the great deals and incredible customer service at Friendly Tire on both new tires and used tires. One of our listeners, Antonio, went to Friendly Tire and called to share with us his experience of buying used tires at Friendly Tire in Margate.
Good morning, you're on the radio.
Hey, yes, Brian, I want to give you a quick testimony about the tire place up in Margate, Friendly Tire. Friendly Tire is everything you said it would be, man. I went up there and got me some used tires, and when I went up there, man, he was very courteous. My whole family's going for that, man. Everything you said it was going to be, man. I appreciate you for that, man. And Mike's a great guy, man.
Well, what's your name?
Antonio.
All right, Antonio. Hey, I'm glad we could save you and your family lots of money on tires at Friendly Tire.
Oh, no doubt, man. Thanks so much, man.
Do what Antonio did. Stop into Friendly Tire and find incredible deals on both new and used tires. Give Friendly Mike a call right now. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. And Mike will give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate.
Ever wanted to grab a text from a screenshot and send it without having to log into a site or app that's plastered with ads? Free text from image.com keeps it simple. No sign-in, no faff. Drop a pic, copy the words. Try free text from image.com. All right, we'll be back in just over a minute. So if you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat. Just over a minute, we'll be back. All right, we've got about 30 seconds. If you're on hold, stand by. I'll take the calls when we get back. Yep, the number's pinned in the live chat. You're welcome to call. You don't have to agree. And I'll be with you guys all weekend. I'll have a podcast this afternoon, and I'll be here over the weekend, of course, as well. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show on this open phone, open MAGA Mike Friday. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
How you doing, Brian? This is William, the bus driver out of Atlanta. I used to call your show years ago.
Oh, yeah.
How you doing today, sir?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm really enjoying your show today.
Welcome back.
I believe, yes, sir. Trump is doing a phenomenal job. And, there's a lot of blacks that like what he's doing, because it's helping our communities, especially when it comes to crime and stuff.
Absolutely.
And I'm really proud of the guy. He had everything against him and looked like he's coming out on top. And in our nation, we need to be praying for the guy and praying for our government every day, because if America falls, the world will fall.
That's correct.
And that's what they want. They want America to fall, because it's going to allow tyranny to run rampant all over the world. There's nobody going to keep the world in check.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to be praying for our nation, because whatever they replace our government with, it's going to be a whole lot worse than what we have. And I think we have something good right now. That's why everybody else want to come here.
Yeah.
You know, and I really didn't want to rant and all that stuff like that. But I did want to speak on the fraud that's in Minnesota.
Oh, the Somali fraud.
Nation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's a lot bigger than what anybody could ever think. Because I used to talk to people that was on food stamps or whatever, and they was only getting like $35 a month. But when we look at these immigrants, they had 3 or 4 buggies. You know, I'm talking about the Mexicans. They would had 3 or 4 buggies at Sam's and Costco and stuff. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of fraud that has went on.
Sam's and Costco take EBT? I never heard that before.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, you gotta have a membership. You gotta have a membership to shop there.
Well, they do. They had a membership, but still they go use the card there. Everybody,
wow.
In the state of Georgia, you can use it there, and they go in there and they clean up, man, and you know everybody see what's going on. You know, but everybody's afraid to say something about it, you know, because they don't want to be labeled.
You know, there's a lot of people are, don't lose your thought, a lot of people are asking a very good question. There's a lot of, they always like to point out how much debt we have in this country, right? How much of the debt is because of all this fraud, like the Somali fraud?
Ooh. Well, it's bigger than the Somali fraud. That's what I'm saying. It's a lot of, you know, because America, this is the deal, Brian. America was supposed to die. They had a plan. America was supposed to die, and in the death of America, it was going to this new world system.
When was that? When were we supposed to die? When was this? The country was supposed to collapse. When?
I heard of a thing called a 16-year plan. You know, they wanted to initiate it. You know, with Clinton, Hillary was supposed to be the one. With Obama, they were supposed to put the knife in the heart of America. Mm-hmm. You know, and but their plan, you know, they tried to jump the gun. They should have just like a pendulum that swings back and forth. They should have just continued to let the path go where our society goes in a place of immorality. But they tried to do it too fast. Yeah. And the people woke up. Yeah. The people woke up, and now the pendulum is swinging back the other way.
That's right.
And they're running scared. But this is the scary part. When you corner a dog or a wolf, they're gonna fight like hell. And so I just want the president to know that I don't think that rescinding the National Guards out of these communities, I don't think that's a good idea. I think he should let them stay out there because it's keeping things at bay. But I understand how he does things. He's a chess player, and so he probably will pull them back, keeping them on ready.
Well, let me ask you this. I'm glad you brought that up because I wanted to mention this earlier, and there's so much going on, it skipped my mind. Well, President Trump he's so smart, and he's always 10 to 20 moves ahead of the next smartest man in the room, right? So is it not possible that this is really a very smart tactical move? So the National Guard pulls out. The federal agents are still there, and all these bad guys that they're looking to round up, the Trinde terrorists, the MS-13 terrorists, all the rest, they start moving around more, and then they get nabbed by the feds. They think it's safe to come out because the Guard left, but the feds are there to nab them.
That's what I said.
Yeah. I think it's a strategic move, very smart one to smoke out these people.
Yeah. We call them brown shirts. And I will agree. I will agree 100%, but this is the thing. The Democrats and a lot of rhinos know that this is it for them. Mm-hmm. They know this is it. They know they're going to jail. Some people even secretly going to end up getting killed. You know, they ain't gonna publicize it, but they know they done. They know the geese is cooked.
The Democrat Party is fading away into extinction. It's barely a party now.
I got a question for you, Brian. If the Democrat Party goes away, this is a sidebar question. What will replace it? I mean, what's going to happen?
Well,
I mean,
the Democrats,
I can't
just to
see
give
that.
you, without getting too deep into it, but what's happened with the Democrat Party is a lot of things. A lot of it's because of the rise of the MAGA movement. But when Hillary was running and they allowed Bernie Sanders to participate in the Democrat Party he's not a Democrat. He's a registered Democratic Socialist, and they let these Democratic Socialists in because they wanted the votes. And that was the beginning. So the Democrat Party is being replaced by this Democratic Socialist Party. That's it.
Ooh, that's dope.
And they're sure, Mamdani. He's in New York. They're having luck in liberal areas. They're not going to have luck in Florida and places like that. But so that's what's happening. The Democrat Party is becoming the Democratic Socialist Party.
Well, I have a question for you, and maybe if you could ever talk to Trump one day.
He could be listening to you right now at Mar-a-Lago. You never know.
Ask him, because our people, and I'm a black man, but what helped me to have pride was, one, is knowledge of self, but also knowledge of my country. And because I remember in high school, they had phased out civics in high school.
Yeah.
I think that needs to be brought back to school system where they teaching about the Constitution and teaching about our rights and different things like that, because the people are so ignorant about America and all the sacrifices that people have done. There are so many, and I'm talking from a black man perspective, there are so many blacks that have sacrificed for this nation that will fire up pride in us.
What's happened is, this is what happened. The school teachers with their trans flags in the classrooms and the blue hair, the Democrats during the age of Obama, they did a massive recruitment of school teachers. And our school teachers, not just college professors, but the pre-K through high school, are a bunch of liberal idiots that hate the country, and they've changed it. But I'll tell you this, a lot of the big urban cities around the country have had a lot of problems. However, I love Atlanta. I've been there many times. And if you've never been to Atlanta, please go to Ebenezer Baptist Church. That was Martin Luther King's church, where his mother was assassinated playing the organ in there. Go to the Martin Luther King Center. Atlanta was the one, Democrat urban city that was majority black, where you didn't have that anger issue that you've got like in California or in New York and places like that.
Right.
And and I always thought Atlanta, and I don't know if it's because of the greatness of Dr. King or not, but when I get callers like you who are black from Atlanta, it's different than when I talk to a black guy from New York on the phone. You guys can, and I don't know why that is.
Yeah, well, I don't maybe because of we a lot of us are spiritual. And so we haven't disconnected our connection, our walk with God as well as country.
Yeah.
And so it keeps us grounded, because when Obama came on the scene, it's like some type of spirit that took over a lot of the churches.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, because I remember, I'm a preacher as well.
Oh, okay.
And I'm a Pentecostal pastor.
Yeah.
And one of the things I noticed is that a lot of the preachers, they were told to, and this is no lie, I wouldn't lie to you, they were told to preach about race, man.
That's right.
And I was like, and I refused to do it. Because I was taught, you don't preach on you talk about Jesus and the resurrection, and the word will save them. The word will help, but it's twisted now.
Well, I think everything you're saying is true, but I think Atlanta, you look at the black community in Atlanta, it is different than in these other big cities, and it always has been. I will agree. I will agree. And I think, and it's not, and not everybody's rich like those Real Housewives of Atlanta. I think it's because of Martin Luther King.
They just acted.
Yeah, and I think people in Atlanta, in the black community, take Martin Luther King and his words and his mission and his message serious. It's because it's part of Atlanta. because that's where he was born and everything else.
Okay.
And I think that's it.
What?
You know, you got the colorblind and all and all of that, and you go around the rest of the country and they don't want a colorblind. What you have, you know, what you have from the other callers that I talked to, they want to segregate white people. That's what Mamdani's talking about. They want to segregate white people. Listen, I got to run, but I do remember you used to call a long time ago. You're a good caller. Call again.
Yes, sir. Hey, can you still hear me?
I am. Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay. I just had one more thing. I want Trump to hear this. Hey, Trump, if you can have mandatory military for 2 years and give people scholarships, that will help our nation to bring these kids out of the inner city, and that they will join the military, and then in 2 years they can have a full ride.
That's right. That's right. All right, you take care. You take care. All right, good idea. You know, I remember, I don't know if any of you guys remember this. It's not this way anymore. When I first moved to Florida to go to school, it was 1981 or 2. I was in 5th grade. And do you know that you had to, I didn't even understand this concept. I learned it real quick. Do you know with the school, because this is the South, right? You had to say yes, ma'am, and yes, sir, to the teachers and principals, administrators, and all the adults in school in Florida when I first moved here in 81, 82. You know, Southern discipline. I mean, that guy's right on the money. All right, let's take another call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Bill Jacobs from Sanford.
Bill, I looked at the clock. I got to go to break. I shouldn't have taken the call. I'm going to put you on hold, okay? I'll be with you after the break. I want to talk about the Sloman's Home Security free offer. This is amazing. Listen to this. Sloman's Home Security is offering a free home security system with free professional installation and 24/7 central station monitoring. You get all that for just $24.95 a month for 5 years. Great deal. All you have to do is call 833-283-5050. Okay? You get a free home security system and professional installation absolutely free. Your Sloman's home security system includes a touchscreen keypad, 3 door or window sensors, a motion detector, notifications, and remote keypad access so you can check in anytime from anywhere. Give them a call right now, no matter where you're located. 833-283-5050. 833-283-5050. We'll be right back. All right. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll go to the phones when we get back. Oh, man. Yeah, that guy's a good caller. I remember him. He's a good caller. I remember when he said that he's also a preacher. I remember very well. Very good caller. Okay.
Hello.
Hi, it's Brian. Do you want to do the report today?
Yeah.
Okay, great. We got about
we're open.
Good. Oh, you are? Okay. We have 1 minute. I'm going to put you on hold. I'll be back with you shortly. We'll be live in a minute. Okay, hold on. Okay. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. I'll go to the phones after the Gold Report. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, guys. Fifteen seconds. All right, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with our first gold and precious metals report of the new year. William Youngerman, how the metals starting off 2026?
2026 is starting off with a bang. We're going up and away. And we ended up
dramatically for 2025. By way of review, gold closed on New Year's or the last day of the year down $20.10 at $4,317.60, which was still up $1,692 for the year.
Wow.
Silver was down $4.62 on the last day of the year at $71.54, but was up $43 for the year.
Wow.
Platinum was down $114 on the last trading day of the year, but at $2,006, it was still up $1,100, over double from the beginning of the year. And palladium up $1 on Friday, or the last day of the year, and it was still up $710 for the year at $1,604. That's the closings for last year. Not too bad.
That's good. That's incredible.
This morning we saw gold trade in a range of $43.14 so far, all the way up to $44.03. Right now we're at $4,370. That's up $52.40 starting off this year. Silver up $2.26 this morning at $73.80 the ounce. Platinum up $49 at $2,115. And palladium up $16 at $1,620. So not a bad start for the new year and a great finish for the old year.
Yeah, I've been seeing stories in the news that precious metals dealers around the country are not just running low, but some of them are running out of things like silver and everything. What's your supply like, William Youngerman?
We're still very well supplied with our silver, gold, and platinum, so we can still handle our customers and meet their needs. We are very blessed to be able to do so, because a lot of dealers, like you said, are out of the metals and are dependent on metals coming in future deliveries.
Well, that's never a problem with you. So what are your, when it comes to gold and silver, platinum, what's your buy recommendations now? Any particular gold, silver, or platinum?
No, all the products are reasonably priced right now, so that makes it a buyer's choice.
Get your favorite.
You can pick your favorite, and we should be able to supply you with it, at least for the time being.
That's amazing, guys. Listen, give William Youngman a call. He opens up at 10 a.m. 1-800. What are your hours today, William?
We're normal hours, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. today.
Yeah, see, I knew the metal, they're doing so well. I knew you guys wouldn't take a long weekend. That's it. All right, listen, he opens up at 10 a.m. 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010, or stop in at William Youngerman's in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building, immediately east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca. And you can find both his address and phone number online at williamyoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk on Monday.
Okay, yeah, we are dealing with a limited staff today also, so please be patient if there's a line. We'll get to you as quickly as possible.
Can I yell in from the back of the line to lock in my price?
Yeah.
All right, good. Okay, we'll talk on Monday.
All right.
All right,
have a nice weekend.
All right, take care, guys. All right. I knew he was going to be open today because he was thinking about maybe not. I knew. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
IB and Broward, good morning.
Hey, IB.
Hello.
Yeah, you're up. Yeah.
Brian.
Yes.
I was trying to say yesterday to you to contrast something. Don't
go through the thing. It bombed yesterday. Don't do it again. What do you got today?
No. The lyrics and
No. You're on the. I did a show yesterday too, guys. It's back on. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Bill from Sanford.
Oh, hey, Bill. I'm sorry. I forgot about you. I had you on hold there. Hey, Bill from Sanford. What's on your mind?
Let me tell you something. I've been listening to you for over 10 years, and I am so in awe of your knowledge of history, of periods that I lived through and you weren't even born yet.
Yeah.
I can't tell how impressed I am.
Well, thank you very much.
I lived through them, and you did not, and I wouldn't put myself up against your knowledge, living through it.
Oh.
And you just do a phenomenal job in your recall of current events years ago, of things you've never lived through. and you have a great show.
Well, thank you
Otherwise,
very much.
wouldn't be
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
And I just have to make one more comment. You're right on the Muslim, of the religious stuff. You're absolutely right on that.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah, that's a loser way to
All
go.
right.
All right, appreciate the call. Thanks for holding.
Have another great year, Brian.
Oh, we will. Take care. Take care. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, I'm just intrigued by that comment that you made.
Which one?
I've
made a lot in the last 4 hours. Huh?
I've lived in both places. I've lived in Atlanta. My phone number right now is actually an Atlanta number. Starts with 470.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I also live in New York, so I can relate to both a little bit.
Okay.
First things first.
Oh, you're talking about what I was talking.
Atlanta.
Oh, you were talking about the hospitality and the lack of anger among African Americans in Atlanta versus New York.
Well, I'm not even going to disagree with you. I do believe that New Yorkers are definitely more hostile than Atlanta. I would give you that. But I also would want you to give me, in Atlanta, I have never been introduced to this open homosexuality than I have in Atlanta.
Yeah, there's a lot of gays in Atlanta.
I'm just speaking my truth.
There's a lot of gays in Atlanta. That's true. They call it.
but,
Elton John. Elton
as a
John
black
used to have a
man-
house there. I don't know if he still does.
Yeah, and as a black man, in Atlanta, I'm just new, and I literally had a guy just stop and try to. It was weird. So when the pastor is trying to just segregate, I just want to make sure that we're highlighting both. Also in Atlanta, there's a lot of black churches. There's a lot of black churches in Atlanta, and I don't believe that they're connected spiritually. All these pastors are spiritually connected to the higher power, to the higher being.
So what are you trying to? I'm trying to get the point of your call. Are you trying to tell me that you're the angry black man in Atlanta? That there are angry black men in Atlanta? What's the point of your call?
I think right now I criticized you enough. You're not really good at taking criticism, so maybe you might allow me to criticize the pastor that just called.
No, I could take criticism. I did. What did I say that was wrong?
Oh, well, today you made a comment about being an American is not about being on paper. It's about passion, which contradicts
Correct.
you picking up people that are passionate about being here and shipping them out. You contradict yourself all day today.
No, see, what I'm talking about is you have a wave of immigrants of Mamdani and his family are examples of this. The Somalis in Minnesota are other examples. They come to this country with no intention on becoming American other than on paper, and they're coming here to destroy our country and take it down, or just rip us off like the Somalis are doing.
Elon Musk, I believe Elon Musk is that, but the reason
Elon Musk is
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk is an American in his heart and in his mind and in his soul.
You see what I'm saying?
And hold on, and look what Elon's done. He gave us our manned space program back that we didn't have.
Name one, okay.
Name one. I just did.
That doesn't mean that's not destroying.
What?
Okay, watch this.
Yeah.
Let's communicate.
You mean listen.
Name one American that is not brown, that is Caucasian, that is Republican, that you believe came here but does not have America's best interest at heart. I'm going to prove to you that the only people that came
I didn't
here
understand you want me to name.
Hold on.
No, I didn't understand the question. Name one.
The only people that you see that came here and is bringing America down and does not have the passion are people of brown skin. I want you to prove me wrong by mentioning somebody that is Caucasian that is not Democrat to show me you're not biased.
The main problems we have with immigration is not from Europe, right, where the white people are. It's from our southern border and from other countries in the third world that are not white countries.
Guys, I just hope I hope everyone.
You think you made? What point do you think you made?
I am showing your biasness when it comes to who. 1 minute it's about the love and the passion of coming here. But then it's about, oh, wait a minute, the brown people are not doing the right thing when they come here, but the white people are.
I didn't say anything about white people or brown people.
European?
people are coming here.
This
and they're not the
country,
problem,
this
and-
country was settled by and founded by Europeans, and I'll remind you that the Hispanics are of European descent too. Okay, they're of European descent, Spaniards
you
and
can't
Portuguese.
find a country that there was already people here.
There's
Tell
no
your people the truth.
there's no mass immigration coming from white people to this country.
That's another lie.
Where's
That's
the
another
mass
lie.
immigration coming from white countries?
Not the What are you talking about? Turkey, Germany, Israel.
No, we don't. No, we do
Ukraine.
not
They're
have.
all
No,
coming here. The
there
Jews.
people
They're
come
all
here,
coming
but we
here.
don't have. But we don't have. Where's the community of European immigrants that are stealing $9 billion from the federal government, like the
How about
Somalis?
this? Trump the other day wants a whole set of Japanese or Chinese to come over here.
Yeah, but they're
because
not.
so
They're not
talented.
coming over here to steal. They're coming over here to run Toyota and Hyundai factories and stuff.
Well, you're not hearing yourself.
Yeah, I am hearing myself.
We're getting rid of the brown people to let the people we
No.
want in to do the same thing. You're not
No.
hearing yourself.
No, what group do we have of white immigrants that are coming here and are stealing $9 billion from us? The Japanese are coming here to work at Japanese companies. They're not coming here to steal from the Medicaid system.
Japanese come in. They also have Medicaid for their kids. And
No, they're not going to have
What are you
Medicaid. They're going to
talking
have
about?
they're going to have six-figure jobs working in Toyota factories and stuff. They're coming over
Okay,
here.
Are you telling your crowd that the Japanese immigrants that come over here all have six figures? What are you saying?
The Japanese immigrants are coming here to work at. They're not coming here to even become Americans. They'll probably still stay Japanese. You know, in
But
fact,
you want them. But you want them.
well, we
You're
want
confusing me. You
the
people-
Toyota. We want the Toyota and Mitsubishi factories that they're going to be overseeing.
You
I got to
don't
run. It was almost a year ago that I first met Dr. Zuckerman over a Coastal Weight Loss Secret, and I lost over 35 pounds. I've kept it off. Let this be the New Year's resolution to lose weight year that you actually keep the resolution. 2026. You have a resolution to lose weight, you can do it. Call Coastal Weight Loss Secret. They can help you no matter where you are located. We have listeners from all over the United States that have lost literally a ton of weight thanks to Coastal Weight Loss Secret. Call the number. I'm going to give it to you right now and schedule your no-charge consultation. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. All right, guys. Well, we'll be live back with you Monday morning at 6 a.m. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. Steve Kane will be back with us on Monday. He's taking a long weekend with the family for New Year's, as most people are, but I'm just a workaholic. I can't take days off. I just can't. I'm one of those, if I take a day off, I wouldn't know what to do with myself. But anyway, guys, great calls today for the most part, and great conversations. Have a very happy New Year. God bless America. God bless Donald Trump. And let's hope that Tim Walz gets arrested by Pam Bondi for this fraud. See you Monday, 6 a.m. All right, we're clear. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll be back later today. So make sure you got that notification bell clicked. And I'll be here all weekend, too, because lots of news is breaking. Take care, guys. I will talk to you next time. I'm Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Thanks for watching.